Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the United Gamedom 2018 Game of the Year special. We have gone through our honourable mentions at numbers 10 to 6. So anyway, let's get on to disappointments, and I don't have many. I only have the one this year.
Really good.
Mainly because the fact is I didn't play a whole lot of games from last year now that sort of like disappointed me, to be honest. Like most of the games I played, like I enjoyed this. It didn't disappoint me to the extent to put it on my list.
Yeah, disappointing doesn't mean bad. It means just not as good as we thought it would be.
Yeah, and the thing is though, this game in particular is on the disappointment list because I am a big fan of the series. I loved the first two. I was just so glad they were making a third one. When I got the third one, I first saw reviews for it. I was like, oh, this got a 4 in GameSpot. Oh, I'm not so sure. This could be iffy. And looked at the best and read the review and seemed to be certain problems with it. Like it seemed a bit unbalanced in a way. The combat, like if you're surrounded by enemies, it seemed a bit like you're screwed and stuff like that. And like I looked at other reviews and seemed to be a mixed bag. Like some people seem to like it, others not so much. That game is Darksiders 3.
Oh, yeah.
This is done by Gunfire Games that, like, after the whole THQ collapse, Darksiders, along with some other franchises, was bought by, was it Koch Media? No, I think formerly, but now it's known as THQ Nordic. So it is, and it's pretty much, it's like the THQ Nordic's like the publisher now, and Gunfire Games developed the game and has some of the people who helped create the first two Darksider games. So I'm sure it was going to be in some good hands, but you could tell that this is probably was more done on probably more of a budget than the previous two because it's just not as good.
Didn't have money.
I was pretty disappointed with this overall. And like I said, it's not a bad game. I don't think it's a 4 now. Like, I don't want to go that far. Because GameSpot, the fact is, they reviewed this, they give this the same score as Fallout 76. This game is not broken.
Yeah.
This game's not a mess. It has its problems, but it's not like, an unplayable mess now. If you're looking for something like the first two, where it's more of like a Zelda-esque game where you go around this open world-ish, this like big world, and like you have a hub area and go to these different dungeons and do like enter dungeons and have keys and fight bosses at the end and get new weapons like that, then look elsewhere because this is pretty much not this in this case now. This is pretty much more along the lines of, say, a Dark Souls game. And that you get souls. If you die, you drop those souls. But the difference between is if you die again, it's not like you lose those souls permanently. Is you actually just go back to that area again. You can die as many times as you want, and those souls will still be there. So there will be. So it's a bit more forgiving in that sense of things. Vulgrim, who has been in all 3 of the Darksiders games, he is pretty much acts as your bonfire. The serpent holes that you go through between and it's more of an interconnected world. You go to different areas, you get shortcuts and things like that. And that's pretty much the consensus of this. You fight the 7 deadly sins. So you fight prey, lust, like wrath, and ones like that. The story you play as Fury. This takes place between the end, before sort of the events of Darksiders 1, I believe. So this is kind of a prequel, I believe. I think, yeah, it sort of does. Because you do come across like death and that there. And pretty much it's like the Chart Council is pretty much tasks you with taking care of the 7 deadly sins as Fury, and you come across like War, Death, and Strife, who is the other horseman who will be probably playable if they ever make a Darksiders 4. But concerning this game probably so very badly, that remains up in the air. The problem I have is I would have, if it just did another game like the first two, I just had just basically made it more a Zelda game again, I probably would have been I would have probably preferred it, to be honest, more like this here, because I didn't really like the whole sort of interconnected world. Like, the combat is good. It's probably one of the best parts about the game, but the environments you go through are pretty generic. There's nothing really great about them. It's just this post-apocalyptic world, and you go through some of the areas that pretty much look the same. We get surrounded by enemies sometimes. Like, I was actually playing this on hard though, but I actually heard it to be the case that some of sometimes this feels a bit cheap, in that you can get surrounded by enemies, you can get stun locked, and you just get screwed. Like, you could do the same way with them there, but other times you could just get surrounded by enemies, and it just makes it a bit more tricky to fight more than a couple of enemies at a time. Like, it's best just to fight like maybe one or two enemies at a time. Like, if you're fighting like say 5 or 6, then unless they're like very weak enemies, then you're gonna have a hard time getting out of that alive. The bosses, most of them are pretty forgettable. Like, I just really wanted to like this game more than I did though. Like, I still enjoyed aspects. I still enjoyed my time with it to an extent though, but I just wish it was better. Like, I probably would never play this again compared to the first two. Like, I'd go back to them again someday. Like, I did play through Darksiders there again in 2017, and I did play some of the second one there last year as well, but never got around to finishing it. But I definitely would go back to them again more than this one. If you want to sort of know more about the story, like the connections between the first two games, then go for it, unless you can just look up online if you want to. But if you still itching to play it, I guess get it, but I was just disappointed with it though. Like, I would probably give it maybe a 6 or a 7. So it would be. Like, although it does have a bunch of fixes now since I played though, so I know one of the fixes was they actually, I think, changed the combat to make it play more like the first two Darksider games. So if you played more like that, then you're probably more like, Zelda-esque instead of more like sort of, I guess, Dark Souls or something along those lines. I'm not sure. I did like the weapon out there. I did like the weapons you get though, but it's not like, you get a lot of loot now or anything like that. You just get 4 weapons, and that's pretty much it.
Standard stuff.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of stuff though. And that's pretty much all. You don't get cool abilities or anything like that now. Well, you get abilities though, but it's not like some of the abilities you get, like gadgets and stuff like that you got in the first two, like the wee portal system from the first one and stuff like that. There's nothing really anything like that in this game. But yeah, I was disappointed though. Like, it was actually my most anticipated game for the rest of the year, like more than Red Dead, and it was the one I got disappointed with overall. So yeah, that's my Darksiders 3. Disappointed with it, to say the least. Do you still want to play it, Derek?
I do, yeah. I do want to play it. If I can get it for either really cheap or if I can rent it or something.
Yeah, like, I'd recommend if you can get it for like maybe $10, $15 or something. Like, I'm sure like if a sale comes around again, then you could probably get it. Like, I got it for £30 on CD keys.
I'm sure it'll go down really fast.
Oh, you played it on PC? Okay.
Yeah. I was fine, yeah. It ran fine. So it did. I know it was actually, I think it was a bit of it's a bit tactical, but it's like hitches up a lot. Like, the frame rate's a bit inconsistent out there, and on the PS4, the console versions. And like, it doesn't look really great either though. You could like I said before, you could definitely tell this is worked on a budget, because it doesn't look that much better than the first two games. Like there's certain parts of it look nice, but other than that, it's just like looks very similar. Like this could have been easily probably done on a last gen console, but I would have liked to know if they had a bigger budget. Like if this was still THQ or like some other publisher bought Darksiders, okay, we're going to go on this here. We're going to, give you more money. What have been like though? Because I'm pretty sure that was probably one of the problems I have. Because it's like they probably worked on a budget, therefore there's certain things they had to, cut, and therefore certain problems arose because of it. And also the camera sometimes is a bit of a nuisance, where you're fighting enemies and you get surrounded by enemies and all of a sudden just zooms you in and you get screwed over, which is kind of like a problem with Dark Souls games, and it was brought over here as well, so that sucked as well. But yeah, like I still enjoyed it to an extent, but that's it. So
Okay.
Go on, Derek. What is your disappointment?
Okay. You and I talked about this a little bit already, but
yeah, Derek, Des doesn't know, but yes, me and Derek talked about this when we were playing Destiny.
I did not actually even buy this game. I wasn't planning on it originally, but I saw, I knew about it from E3 and it looked really good. Another sequel in the series. I saw somebody on Twitter tweeted a picture or like a video of a car that's in this game, and I didn't realize that type of car was in the game right away. I remember looking up car lists before the game came out to see if a certain car was in it, and it wasn't. So then, I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just see if that comes out as DLC. So I saw somebody tweeted out this car, which is a Honda Civic Type R, 2017 or 2018, and I was like, oh, I want to race that car in the game, because last year, 2017, November 2017, I got a new car, and I got a 2017 Honda Civic Sedan Touring Edition, which is like the top of the line sedan for that model. The Type R is like a sporty version of it. It has the same type of body style, but some of it's slightly different and has, like a spoiler and stuff, so it's a little more sporty. But the basic look of it is very similar to the car that I drive, so it's not the same exact car, but it's the closest I've ever come to driving a car in real life and having that car in the game. So I really wanted to drive that car. And this game is Forza Horizon 4, by the way.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I heard about that Xbox Game Pass thing where you can get that, and this game will be, free. Like, you pay for the Game Pass, and then you can play the game for free, the full game. And I did it on PC.
Yeah.
And at the time, so I think the normal price is $10 a month for Game Pass. They had some special for, I think it might have been for the holidays or something, where it was $1.
I think it was during their, the XO event they had was in Mexico, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I think it was during that.
So I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. It's $1. I might as well give it a shot, So I was like, kind of excited, and I trying the game because I wanted to use the car that, not quite my car, but it's, super close. So I get in, I play a bunch of the initial races, unlock some of the stuff, and I go through like the shop, and I go through the auctions, trying to find the Honda Civic Type R, and I can't find it. So I go to look up online, and turns out the only way to get that car is either through wheel spins or through something called a Forzathon shop, which doesn't unlock until you finish quite a lot of the game, actually. It's not like an immediate unlock.
Okay.
I think you have to go through... You may have had to go through all 4 seasons. At least a couple. So the only way are either the wheel spin or the Forzathon shop. And in that shop, you have to use special currency that you can only get through defeating like certain challenges or events in the game. And up until the point you unlock the shop, like you won't have any of the currency at all. So I was kind of upset, but I kept on playing, like hoping that maybe I'd get it in a wheel spin. Um, but yeah, so I've never got the car that I wanted. I only wanted to use that one car for like all the game, or the majority of the game, as much as I could anyway. Never got it. I pretty much finished the story mode essentially. Um, so the big thing about this game is the seasons. Like you have the 4 seasons, but they don't change very often. They do initially in the kind of like tutorial mode or like the initial mode of the game. Um, they'll start you off in one season, and what you do is you rank up by earning points through races, events and stuff. And then once you have enough points, you go back to like the main base, like the hub or whatever it's called, and you do an event there, and then the season will change. And you do it all over again. You get points, and then you change seasons and go to the next season. Um, the thing is, you can accumulate more points than you need really quickly to advance the season. So I think I started. I think was it Autumn that was the first one. I think Autumn might have been the first one. Um, I was racing a ton of races in that, got a ton of points. I was like, okay, well now I'm going to go to winter, and I did that event, and then winter started. But then I only needed to do 2 or 3 races to get enough points to go to spring. So then I did that, and then I was in spring already. So I had only done winter like a few races, and you do it again, and then you go to summer, and then you're done. And then the way it works in the end game is each season lasts like a week or so, and it'll change like every week. So
Okay.
if you're not intending to play this game for a long time, you're only going to see the seasons. You won't see all the seasons in an equal amount of time. It's going to depend on like how quickly you finish all the events,
Okay.
and then you'll be stuck with the one season that is during the week, whatever it is. Um, so that's kind of crappy, I think. Um, and once you kind of do that, once you go through the whole changing of the 4 seasons, you keep doing events and like you level up, you have a level, but then there's like really nothing else. Like there's
There's no end game
really nothing else to do. No, not there's like
like 3.
each season there's like events you can do. Like okay, for autumn or whatever, these specific races that you've done before, these are now considered autumn events, and you can go do them and you can get points. Um, you can do the Forzathon challenges, which will give you the currency for the Forzathon shop, which will sell like a car that's exclusive to the shop. Some of those can be really tough if you don't have the right cars. Like there was one that I was really trying to do where you had to go through a speed trap with a specific type of car. It was like European rear-wheel drive or like European supercars or something. And you had to go through the speed trap at like 240 miles an hour or something like that. And it's really difficult if you don't have like the perfect setup or the perfect car. And I tried over and over and again, and I couldn't do it. They're not all that hard. Some of them are pretty easy, just do 10 drift zones or complete, so much races, whatever. But you don't get a whole lot of credits. Like it'll take quite a while to save up enough credits to get enough money to buy like a car in the shop. Um, the good thing is that you can buy those cars in the auction, like the auction section, but they're so rare that when somebody actually sells them, it's going to be tons and tons and tons of credits,
Hmm.
which, depending on how often you play the game, you may not have. I mean, I'm sure there's online mode if you like the online mode. That's there. I don't really have any interest in playing competitively with people, so I didn't really do any of that. I think the clan thing or the club or whatever is in there, but I didn't join one. They didn't really seem to focus or like push that like they did the previous game. So yeah, it was really really weird. Like I guess the fact that a car is exclusive to wheel spins isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like it gives you some incentive to do those, but they also threw in a bunch of garbage in the wheel spins, like avatar items and horns,
Okay.
like just dumb stuff. Like I don't care about like a hat for my avatar or a jacket or like a horn for my car.
Yeah, because you're out of
Just
your
let
car
me.
more often in this one, right? Like I mean, you see your avatar that drives the car more often than.
Only when you finish the race. Like when you finish a race, it shows the first, second, and third place cars, and then their avatar is standing next to the car,
Yeah,
and they're like either doing it a dance or
you can do like a
clapping
Fortnite
or whatever.
thing, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. There are emotes. Like that's another item that's in the wheel spin is like
Mhm.
dances and stuff like that. So it really sucks because I really wanted to use that car and I still don't have it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're talking about Overwatch where you want like a
That's
specific
exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
skin or whatever, and like if you want if you had the option to pay $2 or $3 or whatever, you'd probably do it.
Yeah, of course.
And if they would have sold me that car for like $3, I would have totally bought it
Yeah.
right away.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's really kind of shitty, and that's kind of the fact that I couldn't get the car I wanted, and then the other items I mentioned about this.
Mhm.
That's why I was disappointed about the game.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily looking forward to the game, but when I saw that tweet with somebody using the car, I was like, oh, I want to play this game now. And of course, I never got to use the car.
You never got your car.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. So
Yeah.
if they ever do add it in some other manner where you can actually buy it, I might go back and try it, but we'll see. I'm kind of hoping they add that car to the crew too, so I can try that.
Mhm.
We'll see. But I know that has similar issues in the way like the progression works.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what if you agree with that, Dennis, or not. But
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in a couple of minutes here.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, the racing is great. It's fantastic as it always has been. The visuals are fantastic. There's no doubt about that. It's just the way that the
They handled it.
progression works and the handling with like the emotes and the dance, the horns and putting all that stuff in the wheel spins. It's like, just give me cars or money and that's it. I don't want all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
and
want
it's not like you're getting wheel spins constantly. It's like either you have to level up, which can take a while, or you have to do specific events. So it's not like you can just buy. Well, I guess I take that back. So they have a VIP pass you can buy for real money. It's like $20 or $30.
Hmm.
And if you buy that, you get. So you can buy houses for your avatar, but you don't really do anything. You don't actually go inside them.
Yeah. Okay.
If you buy, there's a few houses that cost a ton of money, and if you buy those, you also get like 10 super wheel spins.
Okay.
So a super wheel spin is like 3. It's kind of like if you're doing a slot machine and you have 3 different slots to fill up.
Okay. Mhm.
It's like three at once, so you get 3 items instead of 1 item.
Okay.
You do get some of those in the game, but it's pretty few and far between.
Mhm.
Like right off the bat, since I had played other Forza games, it like recognized my account and it gave me some free spins right away at the beginning. But of course, I didn't get the car I wanted. So
Yeah. Of course.
yeah, that's my disappointment.
Okay.
Forza Horizon 4.
Have you even played it yet, Dennis?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's yeah.
I say I already played the demo of it, so
It's a
it
game
is,
I didn't get around to playing. So.
I actually did get the Xbox Game Pass, and I did download it, and I played it for like 10 minutes or so, and turned it off because the sound was hitching out for some reason. And then Derek told me about a solution.
Okay.
Like he said it was happening to him as well, and then he said he looked up online and sorted it out and didn't happen to it since. So I'll probably go back to it if I go back on Game Pass again sometime and try it out.
Mhm.
I would say if you don't care about the cars necessarily, like if you don't care about getting one specific car, you'll probably be fine.
I don't drive, so I wouldn't have that same problem as you did.
And then I would say extend the seasons as much as you can. Like when they say, okay, you can go to the next season.
No go.
Don't unless you hate that season that you're in.
Mhm.
Like if you hate winter or whatever. Otherwise, just stay there for a while until you're like, okay, I'm kind of done with this one. I'll go to the next one. So,
Yeah.
because you won't be able to go back unless you come back to the game, in a month and it's gone back to that season. So
Hmm. Okay. It reminds me of Test Drive Unlimited a little bit. That you can, like you buy a house and you get go into your house and do stuff, and like Test Drive was like that. The
you don't
second one
actually go into the
especially.
house at all in this.
You could buy your house and go into your house and have an avatar and stuff like that. So kind of reminds me of that.
Well, I know in the crew too, you can walk around your house, right? You can look at your cars and like your boat and stuff in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But I didn't get to that point, but yeah, you
Oh,
can
okay.
you can do that later on in the game. But I did get to the point where I have a you have your house and your crib, and I had one car in there, so it wasn't too much of anything yet. But
Okay.
yeah,
I know in the beta they must have given us free stuff or whatever in the beta, but I remember walking around and you could see your boat and your car in your garage or your house or whatever it's called.
yeah, yeah. That's a little far-fetched. You see your plane and your boat in your house.
Yeah.
Kind of a little far-fetched, but yeah, okay. So yeah, so should I go or you guys?
Yep.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so
Sorry, Dennis.
I have three of them, but it's kind of a little bit. They have their reasons for them being disappointing. First off is Sea of Thieves, which I was expecting more out of that game. Like it's not a game that I was hotly anticipating or whatever, but I saw some previews and I was like, man, this looks fun to play with a couple of people and just fool around on the boat and go do stuff and everything. And we played very early on in the game's life, so I know they added a whole lot of stuff to the game to make it a little bit better. But when me and you, Darren, played that game, I there was like nothing really fun to do, like nothing really that grabbed me, and that it's kind of go to this place, like find a treasure, bring it back on the boat, and there's not a whole lot of anything going on in that game.
Just lack of variety, pretty
Yeah,
much. Lack of content.
lack of content, lack of variety. There's not a go here, dig up a chest, and or go here and kill this like legendary guy and get his skull and bring it back, and you get some money from it and stuff like that.
And also the fact is there's no progression really. All you really get is like bigger, better stuff for cosmetic reasons. There's nothing oh, I'm saving up my money to get this legendary ship now, like does load of damage. It's just basically like this legendary this great looking ship or something, but it's just all cosmetic.
Exactly.
Which I would prefer if it was a bit more progression. Like that was one of the reasons they just wanted to make it like that. But I would have preferred I want to kind of sort of give you a little bit of a reason why I'm doing all this here. Or what's the point of just to just make my ship look fancier or have nicer clothes or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I just want something.
Like for example, the ship in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you can level up. Like you can level up your deck, you can level up your archers, and you can put your how do they say, your crewmen. The higher level they are, the better your ship is and everything, and that's a little bit better done than Sea of Thieves, actually.
Yeah, and also one of the things I didn't like about the thing is I think a lot of people have this problem as well. You can't pretty much most other games is okay, here's a customize your character, go ahead, world your oyster.
Yeah, there's
and
nothing.
This is it's just a random thing. You get a random set of different characters.
You just turn a wheel and
not,
okay, here's your character.
Yeah, if none of these are to your fancy, just refresh again, see if something comes. You can't even create your own character.
Yeah, exactly.
You just refresh it just to give you all these different templates.
It's very bare
which
bones.
I think
It's very
stupid. Why can't it just let you create your own character?
Yep.
I don't know if that's been added now or not though. I haven't been caught up.
Yeah, me neither.
Not
I haven't been
up
checking
to
out.
date with this game. I just know they added content and don't know what it's even about though. But that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was Giant Bomb's most disappointing game.
Okay, well, there's
So it was as well.
I kind of agree with them on that one though. Um, Next one is The Crew 2, and I have a reason for that. I bought.
Because we didn't play it with you.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Uh,
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I bought the game and I was like, okay, well, we can. I thought we were going to play together, and then you guys were like, no, we're not getting it. I was like, okay, well, I'll ask for a refund then. And then Ubisoft said, nope, we don't refund the game, so you're stuck with it now. And so I'm like, well, I played a little bit of it, and it's like playing that game alone is really fucking boring. You just go in, there's really, you do a race, and you upgrade your car, and that's pretty much it. There's car races, boat races, and plane races now that, and you can. It's pretty much like Transformers. You can switch to the boat and then switch to the plane. You can be like driving a plane, like flying a plane, and switch to the car while you're in the air, so the car just falls, and then it's like okay, and then okay, I'm coming up on water, so transform into the boat and then fall into the water or stuff like that. There are races that ask you to do like transform as you go along. I think we played some, right, Darren?
Hmm.
One of these types of races.
I don't remember. I think it did do. Yeah, I remember doing one or two of them. Yeah, if I remember in the beta.
Yeah, you have a car section, and then you go through like a hoop, and then it transforms into the boat, and then it transforms into the car, and stuff like that. That's kind of interesting. Like it.
That's done in GTA Online as well.
Yeah.
When we went back and played
Yeah.
it there this year.
So I think they got
That's
their
races
idea
like that
from
as
there,
well.
but yeah, it's I mean I think playing with people would be cool, would be fun, but playing that game by myself is kind of boring. Like there's not really a whole lot to do. The story is really dumb, and it's not really anything really interesting.
I think you probably have the same opinion about Forza Horizon.
Yeah,
Or-
playing
I
by
mean, there's a
yourself
little bit
is-
more to do because you can do like there's the auction house. You can do like the customizing your what do they call that? Um,
library.
yeah, like you can do that stuff,
Mhm.
but it's kind of the same stuff
Yeah,
that you're talking about in the Crew 2.
yeah. I don't think the Crew 2 like got too much of too much attention this year. It was kind of a very, very, very under the radar type of thing. So
Well, the first one didn't really set the world on fire, and I think a lot of people were not really looking forward to this one, and it just seemed to be pretty much got most of the same kind of scores that the first one got.
I kind of like the idea, but I don't know. It's kind of the execution is something else entirely. I mean, it's fun to be flying a plane and transform into a car and then land on a roof or something. But it's not. After you've done that one or two times, it's like okay, well, that was fun. Let's move on to something else. Let's do something else. So
And also, it didn't really have mods as well, where you didn't need to really drive around like the cities, like the country and that. There, you basically
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fast travel. Like, there's not even any point then. Like, just make it like a more menu system. Okay, do this next race rather than
yeah,
you can't even.
It-
There's no point then to the actual open
yeah.
world.
Contrary
then, is
to Assassin's Creed, you can actually go to waypoints where you want in this thing. Like okay, this race is in Texas and I'm in Los Angeles. Okay, let's just warp to Texas and do the
Yep.
race. You don't have to drive to Texas. So they made this big open world, and if you want to, you won't see any part of it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of missing the point of the entire thing. So yeah, that's another one of
And
my.
Minnesota still doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. It's like big cities and okay, where's the rest of the United States? There's nothing there, I guess. Like a big void in the middle or something. So yeah, that's another disappointment. And my final one is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the third game in the series. This game to me just feels off from the other two. Like you could see in the second game, it was starting to get a little stupid with the whole story thing and the whole like the enemies in this game. You know, they come back in the third installment. What are they called again? The
Trinity.
Yeah, Trinity. Yeah. So they're back in this game, and then Lara is the one who causes, the disaster. You see that in the trailer anyway. I'm not spoiling anything here. You see that she causes um, natural disasters to happen everywhere, and then she becomes like this whiny bitch. "Oh, it's not my fault. Like, okay, well, she went from the first game where she was like more of a human, like scared to kill and not too sure, and then in this one she's just like killing everybody, going around and killing indiscriminately, going, the whole thing. And there's just one thing about this game is like you can have very, very long stretches where there's no combat. It's just you climbing around and, scaling walls and scaling mountains and, finding stuff, and then all of a sudden there's combat a little bit, and then you go back to scaling and walking and just, it's like it's very uneven. And towards the end, because I kind of made it, I didn't finish it, but I made it close to the end. It's just like combat, 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 combat constantly. There's no more scaling. There's no more, walking through and seeing the sights or something like that. It's like combat, combat, combat until the very end. There's no balance in this game that I found. Um, just the characters are crappy. Lara kind of becomes like this one-sided person. There's no more like shyness or anything like that she had in the previous games. It's all like, I'm a badass now and I can do this and I can do that. I kind of I didn't really like this game a whole lot. It's kind of a dumbed down version of Tomb Raider. So I know some people enjoyed it, but they said it wasn't what the other games were like. Like the other games were very good. Like the first one is probably one of the best type of those games that I've ever played. It's really smooth and it plays very well and has a good story and everything. And this one like just takes all of that away, and it's like, okay, well, Lara is like this indestructible, don't give a fuck badass now. And it's like, okay, well, what's the deal with that? So apparently this was a trilogy, so I think they're done with this side of the story. I don't know if they're gonna do more Tomb Raider games, but I think they're done with this trilogy, and they're gonna. I don't know if they take a break or if they do something else, or we'll just have to wait and see. But I did not really enjoy it. It's not a bad game by all means, but it's very disappointing compared to the other two. So.
Yeah, this didn't get the best reviews though, and it's like because the fact is it wasn't done by Crystal Dynamics either. It was done by Eidos Montreal,
Yeah.
so that didn't help matters either.
Mhm.
Which is a shame. I've still yet to play it. I'm still interested in playing it now, but like hearing you out there, like that thing seems unbalanced, which kind of sucks. So, because I actually do like the combat in these
Yeah.
games, and so if you say it's like uneven, like there's a lot more traversal, and then all of a sudden it's like slap. A lot of combat towards the end. It's just so uneven and that thing. Because that's the thing in the previous games. And like I think there was a good balance between traversal and combat. Okay, just go explore these tombs now, and then go to the next main story thread. And there's like this combat sequence and stuff like that. So
Yeah, now there's
here and
tombs
that's
and there's
uneven.
crypts. So there's like crypts are more like traversal. Get to one place from one place to another and unlock something. And the tombs are like either you get some
Puzzles.
traversal stuff, but not a whole lot. It's more of a combat thing. Like you get to a place and then you have to fight off some people, and then solve this little puzzle here, and then other people are gonna come. Then you have to fight them off again, and then do this little part of the puzzle, and then fight off some more people. And it's really weird the way they did the whole tomb thing this time around. So I don't know. The whole game feels uneven to me, like unbalanced and not as fun as the other ones were in this series. So Yeah, so those are my 3 disappointments of the year.
Yeah, it always sucks when you have disappointing games every year, but they always tend to happen.
Yeah, they're not bad,
Like I
but
said, I
they're
didn't have as
just
much.
disappointing.
Yeah. Thank you, Dennis.
Rob.
So anyway, let's get into our top 5 now.
Yep.
I start things off with I'll say probably the biggest game of last year. It came out on October 26th. I think every single person apart from Derek and a few other people didn't buy this game. That is, of course, Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption 2.
No, guess what? It's my number 5 also. So
I had a feeling it would be. So we could talk about this, together. Then, I guess.
yeah, it'll help on the time also. So
Yeah, exactly. Yes, the last Rockstar game that I loved was Red Dead Redemption, the first one. Like, I really loved it, though. I thought GTA 5 was fine. It was pretty good, but I just thought it was lousy in the story terms, and the characters were pretty much forgettable. Apart from the 3 main antagonists in that game, asked me to name another character in that game, and I cannot remember anyone for the life of me.
I remember
Michael's family.
I don't know their names, but I know some people like the.
I know Lamar, and I know Michael's family, but I couldn't tell their names now. But outside of that, I couldn't give you any characters in that name. Whereas Red Dead Redemption 2 is completely different, where I can remember a lot of characters' names. Because the fact is now, I probably think this is the best story that Rockstar have ever done.
Yeah, I agree.
By far. It's probably still not the best. It's my favourite Rockstar game since Red Dead. They haven't released a whole lot of games since then. They've released Max Payne 3 and GTA 5. Yep. That's pretty much the only games they've released, I think, since Red Dead Redemption. So, not a whole lot. But you could pretty much tell that they've put millions and millions and millions of dollars and a lot of hard work by a lot of talented people on this game, because it shows with the amount of
detail,
story the amount of detail, the graphics, the voice acting, the motion capture, etc. All that story beats and stuff, the writing, that to me is just superb.
Yep.
All that stuff is superb.
Yeah, I agree.
The gameplay though is not terrible by any means. There are parts of it I do like, but there are other parts I do not.
Yep.
One of the parts I don't like is, and this is kind of I did kind of find it a bit annoying at first, but I did get used to it. It's okay, this is where they're going, the pacing and stuff like that is where when you're in a camp, or sometimes when you're walking around certain places and you're just walking so slow that you just wish he would actually pick up the pace a little.
Yeah.
And that was a big killer for Dan and Jeff specifically. That was pretty much one of the reasons why this didn't get on with this game. And I can see that as a valid reason. But the gunplay in it, I tried it just for free aim to start things off, but then afterwards it's nope, not gonna bother. And I just find it's not a good game that way. You can't really play it that well.
It's not a shooter.
Otherwise,
it's
not a shooter. It's definitely not a shooter. It doesn't play as well as say Tomb Raider, for example, or even Uncharted plays better than this.
So if you don't shoot people, what do you do?
Well, you do shoot people. You shoot a lot of cowboys in this game, and outlaws and stuff like that. But I meant I just put it back to the fixed aim where it just locks on to enemies just to make it a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah. Not free aim is really really tough.
It's not free aim, not free aim. It's just move the control, not lock onto an enemy now.
No, I got it.
That's pretty much what I meant. It just made things a lot easier then for that side of things. Me and Des talked about it some on the last podcast before this one, and I was only in chapter 2 at the point, and I was like,
I had finished it. Right?
I'm liking this. I don't think you had now.
I hadn't finished it? I think I did.
You probably did, yeah. You probably did finish. Yeah, I think you did probably finish it at that point. Yeah, you did. Yeah, because you did say to me something about, fuck Dutch and fuck another character. That's right, yeah. And I know that now. But yeah, like, I just found the lock-on system just made it easier. And, like, you do find a lot of... And, like, back in, like, as I go back... Sorry. Trying to get my train of thought. Like, I was only in chapter 2. And I was like... Because I was, like, going around doing these other things. So, I just realised... Holy crap, this game is long as hell. And that is probably my biggest gripe against the game is... This game is too long.
Yeah, I agree.
It is too damn long. If they cut... Like, maybe... Like, there's, like... And, like, I think people... They said on the Bombcast as well... They probably could have cut the grammar part out completely.
Yep.
And some of that indigenous stuff towards the end as well, the Native American stuff, I think it probably would have been a better paced game. Like, some of that stuff was just like, okay, some of this doesn't... It's not really necessary now.
Yeah, the Guam stuff and the Native American stuff is quite useless, to be honest with you. To the overall story. Like,
the thing is, what happens at the end of chapter 4 leads to Guam into chapter 5. I can understand, but the fact is, they could have been done maybe cutscenes, and then just go back to the main world itself.
The entire time at the beginning of that chapter, where you're walking on the beach, and it takes forever to get to that place where you're going.
Because you're in chains. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, like you're in chains at the start of it, and it takes it takes a dodge age, and that's a thing. Is a lot of people, some people criticize this game for, and a lot of people
praise it for.
It's just like it's like very slow pace sometimes, to its detriment, in my opinion. Sometimes, but other times it does pick up a little. But the fact is, I wouldn't have had it in my top 10 if I didn't enjoy the overall game. And mainly the reason why I enjoyed this game is because of the story itself. Like the story of Arthur Morgan and the Dutch Vanderlyn gang. This takes place 12 years before the events of Red Dead Redemption. You play as Arthur Morgan. And he seemed to be this, like, no nonsense kind of cowboy. And he's kind of like the right hand man to Dutch Vanderlyn, who's the leader. And you pretty much hear this gang goes around after like this sort of a robbery in Blackwood goes to shit pretty much, and you're just trying to get away from the Pinkertons.
Yep.
And like you go to camps and go to each sort of the stand camp, and you be part of this gang, and you talk to people and interact with your camp mates and that there, and and stuff like that. That's kind of like the whole sort of story thread there. And then basically you go throughout the game and you kind of see the way, like, what happens. Like, Dutch goes to this thing. I've got a plan, Arthur. I've got a plan. Yeah. See, I'm going to try to make some money, and let's get off here and make our way to Tahiti and stuff like that. That's like this sort of this end goal. He wants to just try and make enough money for his family. He pretty much says, for his gang, so he just get out of here and get away from this civilization, because they kind of have a feeling like this, like their way of living is coming. It's coming to an end, and the world's becoming a bit more civilized. And he just sees as sort of certain events unfold and certain things get worse and turn to shit for certain characters. Characters die and characters get caught and stuff like that. You pretty much know that, like, see kind of like the true side of Dutch. Like, at the start you think he's this very charismatic leader. He's sort of saying all the right things to the gang. He like seems like, I can understand why Arthur and crew are following this guy and thinks he's like a great guy. Not there. He's saying all the right things, not there. But then you kind of realize,
at one point they start doubting him.
No. start doubting him, and then it's like, okay, then you kind of see the real side of Dutch. Then it's like, is this pretty much, were we just under his like magic per se? Is this really what he was like all along and stuff like
He's
that?
pretty much a cult leader, pretty much.
Yeah, kind of transfixed, and like just like whole story thread with him and Arthur. Like at the start, they're all like, you know, buddy, like really good friends. Like, cause like Arthur and Hosea, they're like the ones who've been with him for like the longest. Yeah. But then at the end, like I said, it just goes to shit though, and you know, you just realize you end up pretty much, you know, just not liking Dutch anymore and not trusting him anymore and things like that, and you know, stuff like turns to shit though. And then that ending is very good indeed. I like that ending, the ending I got for that character.
Yeah, you can get two of them, just depending on what you decide to do at a certain point.
Yeah, also depends as well if you're moral or not. Yeah. Like if you're a low moral, someone shoots you, but if you're high moral, then you just die on top of a mountain looking at the sun rising.
Yeah, we're not spoiling anything. I mean, he's not in the first Red Dead Redemption, so
yeah, like we pretty much had a foregone conclusion that your character is going to die. The critical thing, he's actually, this is spoilers, right? He actually, because he gets tuberculosis, TB. Yep. And I actually didn't realize, I actually didn't put the link though, they actually did say it on the bombcast that he encountered it because of that guy he had to get money from at the start of the game.
Yep.
I did not get that connection.
Yeah, me neither. I had to look it up and it was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's right. Because he had to, because one of the characters, Strauss, who's just basically this money handler, pretty much, he's asked Arthur to go and get some go-to people to get money, get money back from, like a loan shark, pretty much, get money back from the old Strauss, and one of them was pretty much dying of TB, and then he died, and you actually have a few more missions with his wife and child as well later in the game. Yep. But I just really like that whole thread. I think Arthur Morgan is the best protagonist they've ever done as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I think the voice acting in this game is superb. Yep. I love the fact that the guy who voices Arthur Morgan is Irish.
Yeah.
As well. Yep. And I just, like I said, I just really love that whole side. But I'm not just saying, the story and presentation, all that things like top notch, and like, you know, the gameplay sucks. Now there is good gameplay aspects. Like I think I loved exploring the world. Like this world is absolutely beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
So it is.
Yep.
And I liked doing some of the like stranger missions that you come across. I liked some of the random encounters you come across as well when you're like traversing from one point to another. I just liked that some of the missions were fun to do. Like some of the main story missions weren't as enjoyable. Some of them are a bit too combat heavy, especially towards like the later half of the game.
Yep.
Whereas when you did the epilogue, I really enjoyed that because most of it was like more peaceful, like, quiet. Like,
farmhand.
Yeah. You did that as like rather than just like, you know, shoot. But I just like enjoyed that aspect of it at the end. That's why I liked the epilogue more than other people did. Like, what did you think of the epilogue?
I think it was good. It might have been a little bit long to start with, a little bit long in the tooth to start with. But you know, especially I was getting not a little tired of playing the game, but I was like, okay, is this ever going to end? And then I look online and it's like, okay, the epilogue is like, what is it? What was it again? Is it 5 hours?
It says probably about 5 to 7 hours.
5 to 7 hours. So I was like, holy crap, that's another game all into itself, you know? So I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll go through it because, you know, it kind of bridges into Red Dead Redemption 1, so.
Yeah. Like, this takes place, I think, 6-7 years after the end of 2 there. And then, like, you play as John there. Yeah. And you pretty much, you know, play him as he gets like the farm.
He builds the farm.
He builds the farm. He gets a loan and does these bounties. With Sadie Adler, who is one of the he's pretty much, you find her at the start of this game. Her husband gets killed by the O'Driscolls, who are pretty much this rival gang of the and you pretty much have encounters with them throughout the game itself. So you do. But yeah, like I enjoyed that. That's like some memorable characters though. Like that's the thing I'll leave from this game. Is like some of the characters really enjoyable. Like I liked a lot of the Dutch Vanderlyn gang. One of them sucked. I didn't really like him whatsoever at all.
Micah?
He was he was a dick.
Yep.
But I liked a lot of them. I liked Arthur. I liked Lenny. I liked Sean. I was just like, when that happened, like surprisingly, what the thing happened with him, that mission at the end near the end of chapter 3, like, jeez, that just came out of nowhere. Yep. And that mission after that, the one you go to the Braithwaites, isn't it? The manor. That's my favorite mission in the game.
Yeah, that was really good.
I fucking love that mission. Yep. It's just the setting and the music and that there, just the way you walk up into the trees and like the ground, just walking up, just like, we're gonna fuck things up here. That's pretty much because because that's when they found out Jack was taken by them, and then you find out she was taken elsewhere to Saint Denis, which is basically their version of New Orleans. But yeah. I could probably talk a bit more about this game, but the fact is, I've heard a lot about this game talked on Jam Podcast, so I don't want to bore anymore. So you can go and talk a bit more about it there, Dennis, if you wish.
You've said a lot of it. A lot about it. I mean, there's some story beats in this game that are absolutely amazing, like the part where towards the end, where Arthur is on his horse and with the music there. And he keeps thinking of the last ride to the camp. The last ride to the camp. That was
which won their best moment.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was absolutely that really gets you in the feels, and it's really that was one of the best parts of that game.
And that was the song I used in the last podcast. Yeah. I didn't know. All I knew is it was used near the end of the game, but I had no idea what it was referenced to though. But I really like that song.
Yeah, that was a fantastic parts. There are, great parts when you drink with Lenny at the saloon, and then you get so drunk that everybody's a Lenny. Like everybody you talk to.
Lemon.
So yeah, that was another fantastic part in that game. And as you said, when they go to the manor and they fuck everything up, and that was another great part. There's fantastic stuff in this game. The story is amazing. Characters are amazing. I mean, that alone would be like I know why people chose that as their game of the year, But there are things, as you said, that aren't all that great. The fast travel points are absolute garbage. If you want to go from one part of the map to the other, and you have to go to from an extreme to the other, you have to get to a stagecoach in a city, pay some money, and then fast travel to that other point if you have it unlocked. Because if you don't,
and also
you can't.
Also if from your camp as well. Yeah. Which to a point I actually didn't really use for a while, but then I realized, I actually unlocked this. I should be using it more rather than wasting 5 and 10 minutes. Because that was just like sometimes at a point where I was like, I loved traversing the world sometimes, but it did take, it took quite a while to get to certain missions.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just say.
Exactly. The whole gun cleaning thing I didn't really like. Like it says, okay, your gun is damaged.
That didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah,
like I repair it. Got used to it though.
I don't think that should have been in the game. I don't think that's not a fun thing to do. It's like, oh, your gun is damaged. It does less. Your gun is dirty or damaged, and it does less damage now. You have to clean it up, and you have to get the gun oil, and then you clean the gun up and everything. I don't think that should have been in the game. I also agree with you that it could have been shorter as a game. There's a lot of stuff that could have been cut, and that wouldn't even bother the overall story. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's still a fantastic game. Up there as far as, Rockstar games go, it's pretty much close to the top. I mean, if it's not at the top, it's a very good game to be sure.
It's probably the best game. It's like probably in my top. Like, to me, my favorite Rockstar game still is probably GTA San Andreas.
Yeah, me too. Overall, like everything combined, I guess it would be San Andreas. That would be the best, but this one is very good. And I can't wait to see what they do with Bully 2, which is rumored to be their next project coming up. So we'll see what they do with that. So
Yeah.
not much else to add. I think you pretty much covered everything. Best part of this game is the story and the beats and the moments that you get to live through and stuff like that, like stranger missions. And did you do the one that you come across the lady that's burying her husband, and then you help her fight the?
help her. Yeah, she's up in like the wilderness. Like
Yeah.
like, they went away from this to try to live in the woods, and like the first thing they came across, her husband died. Yeah, I actually liked that one. That was nice. So
that was I think that's my favorite one. The whole connection they
Yeah.
have between the two of them, and they don't actually hook up or anything. I
No.
really enjoyed that one a whole lot.
Yeah, because there's one there's like a few missions as well. They're not really mainline as well. Arthur's old flame Mary.
Yeah.
And I did the one where you went to the theater or whatever to watch the play, to watch the state of the show.
I kept screaming
much-
crap the entire time. The entire show. Get off the stage.
Yeah.
So the
But that's
that's one of the two games that has the boy in it. You're
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, boy.
Yeah,
and-
boy. Yeah, the
Good job,
horse.
boy.
That's another system. I didn't really get into like the whole taking care of your
Yep.
horse and stuff like that. And
That's not too
you
bad.
can buy horses, and
That's not too bad.
like the more you use a horse, the more like you bond with
Yeah.
it, and like higher bonding levels, you do like different wee tricks and stuff like that. Then with a horse, and your horse can die, so it can.
Yep. I had one horse die on me. He fell off a bridge
well,
while I was robbing it. He just fucking fell off the bridge while I was robbing a train. He just kept going and just fucking
None of my horse.
over the fucking the fucking thing, and he died. I was like, no.
I didn't. None of my horses died. I got 2 horses. And then once the last mission was coming up, I had a feeling it was coming up. I just used a different horse, a random horse I came across. I didn't use any of the other ones.
Okay, you knew that
didn't want the
that
horse
the
to
mission
die.
was coming.
Yeah, but the fact
cheated.
is, though,
You cheated the thing.
I cheated, and the fact is, I kind of fucking, because I didn't realize if you actually had a horse you use for a very long time, and when your horse dies, you basically passes goes, thank you.
Mhm.
Like that would have been so much better for me. Like I just kind of slapped myself for flipping.
Yeah.
No, that was going to happen.
Yeah. That was a
So
very
it was-
that's another touching part.
Yeah. Like I used to have 2. I used to have one that was called Adrian, and then another one I called Omega.
Okay. Got it.
But anyway, we've done enough
Yeah.
time boring Derek to
Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
So yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, both of our number 5s. So it's a
So
magic
yeah,
for
let's
us.
go to Derek and then go back to me then.
Yep.
So anyway, Derek, what's your number 5?
Okay. Number 5 is Monster Hunter World. I was introduced to the Monster Hunter franchise, you could say, with Monster Hunter Stories. Although I had briefly played a couple other older games prior to that, but didn't really get invested in that world until I played through Monster Hunter Stories. And then Monster Hunter World came out, and it seems like pretty much everybody was playing the game, whether they were a Monster Hunter veteran or not. Um, and I enjoyed it a lot. I know Darren did as well, and I know Eduardo played a lot of it too, and a lot of people I know played a ton of that game. Um, I don't. I think I was around 100 hours when I stopped playing. I don't have an exact count right now, but
I pretty much stopped playing. I pretty much stopped playing once I finished the campaign, like the main story mode, the story of it, pretty much.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
then I went back to it there and played a bit of it when the Final Fantasy 14 event came out, and I did like the first Behemoth fight, and that was pretty much the last I played of it. Then, like, I never went back to it every so often. I did, like, different events that occurred. I know that there's anniversary events coming up as well, and like the whole Witcher crossover is coming as well.
Yeah, Witcher, and then there's an Assassin's Creed collaboration too.
Hmm.
Um, and they also announced a big expansion coming out later this year. So I'll probably get that, and then it'll be a good excuse for me to play with my cousin who didn't he didn't buy it when it first came out, but he bought it for cheap. Like I think he got it for like 15 or $20. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of the way I approached the battles for the most part was kind of like playing a Souls game when you're fighting a boss, and you're watching the enemy to see what attacks they do, and I like reacting to that and then counterattacking. That's kind of how I played for the most part. I used a longsword for the majority of the game, and I never wanted to go back. I mean, I wanted to go and try out other weapons, but I didn't put a whole lot of time into that. I think if I do go back and start from scratch, like start from the beginning playing with my cousin, I'll probably do Lance character. But I know we did talk about this game at length at our special.
Yeah, because we did me and Derek and Eduardo did a Monster Hunter World special. So if you want to hear more detailed thoughts, I guess, on that, there, go ahead and check out that podcast.
Yeah, so
I actually could just talk it as well, because this is actually my number 4, so it is.
Okay, well, you guys can talk about it then.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's like this is my number 4, so.
All right.
That works. Yeah, I think it looks great. Like, it looks gorgeous. I love all the character designs and the armor and the monster designs. The game really needs transmog, though. I hope they add that in the expansion, because that's like a pretty standard feature for the series. I know Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, or whatever it's called on Switch, that just came out recently, that has transmog in it. So there's really no reason that this game shouldn't have it in there. Otherwise, you're stuck with, like, if you want the stats of a specific item, you're stuck with the way it looks, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So that's why I think transmog is really necessary, in my opinion.
That's actually another thing I forgot to mention about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like, as well, which you can change your costume for the transmog in it as well.
Yeah, that's right. It does
So
have
there's
that. Yep.
Yeah,
Right out of the
that's
gate.
one of the things I like about that. Like, and as long as you actually unlocked, like, you came across that piece of armor, like, it's not like any armor now. It's like, as long as you already got it.
Yeah, if
then
you
you can
found
switch
it or
that.
you purchased it, it'll be
Yeah.
in your history, and then you can just change the look
switch
of
to
your
it.
stuff to that at
Yeah.
any time. Yeah.
Like, I'm currently wearing the Ancient King's armor set, so yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't have too much else to say. We talked about it a ton, but I am looking forward to going back to it with the expansion. I thought about trying the Final Fantasy 14 collab stuff, because I really like the Lancer, or is it like a Dragoon armor set and weapons that you can get.
yeah, I believe that was it. Yeah.
But like outside of that, I don't know what I would use them for. So
Yeah, like, this is like, I've played a few of the Monster Hunter games beforehand. Like, I played like Try and then 3 Ultimate, which is pretty much like the like it's 3 Ultimate's pretty much like the game of the year version, you could say, for Trey, and like 4 Ultimate. And I played like a few of the hours. Like 4 was like the closest before this that I really got into the series. Like I probably played about 10-15 hours of it, maybe not that much though. And I think we did play a bit together online in it, but that was it. And then like once this came out, we played the beta, and we really liked the beta. I was like, yeah, you know what? I like this a lot now. It's a lot more streamlined now. It's actually a lot more open area now. It's like this one huge area now, rather than like, you know, separated into different numbered areas where you like go into this area and also it's like, you know, a loading time now. And just that did make things a lot more, you know, easier, more streamlined, and that's pretty much the biggest reason I could say why this one is a lot more successful in the West now than the previous ones because of that. Whereas other people just couldn't get into it for certain reasons, where, you know, in previous ones, like if a monster gets away, that you pretty much have to like mark it, like hit it with a paintball to mark it, so you don't completely lose it now. Whereas, you know, in this one, it goes away, okay, you just need to, you know, track it and you just keep it sent again, and, you know, just know where it is easy enough and stuff like that.
Right, with the scout flies, it'll leave you like a breadcrumb trail essentially, and you just follow that, or you can look at your map too and see where exactly they are.
Yeah, just like different like little improvements like that there just made this more accessible though. And yeah, I only played like 60 odd hours into it, so I did, but I think playing enough of it, like I played a bunch with you, I played a bunch with Eduardo, and had a really great time though. And like I'm looking forward to this expansion though, and it'll just give me a good excuse to get back into it again. Like I used the bow for a bit, some of the bit, and then I think the main weapon really was the glaive, the insect glaive. Like once I got it though, and then looked online for the sort of best like the best insect glaive, like get this armor and use this certain insect and stuff like that to, you know, boost up your stats, and that's kind of what I used towards like the end of the game and sort of helped a lot. And yeah, it's just very fun, like teaming up with friends and just taking on these cool looking monsters, and, you know, and stuff like that. Like it's definitely, I could see why this, and there's a lot of clones out there. There's a lot of games that like this here, like, you know, God Eater, Tukadin, and, you know, games like that. Not them, was it Dauntless, I think it is, it's called, that PC games come out, and some games like that now. And yeah, it's definitely a really enjoyable game though. Like I don't really need to talk more about it, like you said, we talked at length about it on that their podcast though. So but it's a very good game though, and just glad to see it's finally hit the West in a good way, and not, you know, to just the ones who really loved it beforehand. It's gotten more mainstream appeal now, so good. Finally, Capcom, you broke the barrier.
You finally did.
So anyway, Dennis, yeah, are you have any interest in playing this?
I kind of looked at, like, I have a guy at work who plays it a lot, and he keeps talking about it to me. He's like, hey, you should play some. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of late to the party. You know, I'd have to catch up to everybody, so I don't know if I'm ready to do that. But yeah, it did look interesting. I know people say, you know, it starts off pretty good, like it's not too complicated, and, you know, the progression is kind of well done to a point where you know, it's still playable, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I might probably give it a shot. Sure.
It's pretty cheap right now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's nearly a year right now. It's a year out in 2 weeks, so it is. So you can pretty much get it for dead cheap nowadays.
Right.
So anyway, what's your number 4, Dan? So just skip to you now, because there's no point in me just going from Derek to me just talking about the same game now. So your number 4.
My number 4 is the final game for one of the most legendary heroes in video game history. His name is Kazuma Kiryu, and my number 4 is Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. contrary to you guys who played Yakuza Kiwami 2, and who probably have it in their top 5.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I played the final chapter of Kiryu's adventures and finished it, and absolutely loved this game a whole lot. So this is like as I said, the final chapter in Kazuma Kiryu's adventures through Yakuza, and the whole thing revolves around what's her name again?
Haruka.
Sorry,
Haruka.
Haruka. Yeah, Haruka's mysterious baby, being captured, and her being hit by a car. Not captured, but her being hit by a car, and the mysterious baby, where it came from. Because she, at the beginning of the game, she leaves the how do you call it, hold on, what is the
The family or the
yeah,
Yakuza clan
she
or
leaves
something?
the place
The
where
Tojo
The
clan?
orphanage.
the place where the children are.
The orphanage.
The
The Sunflower
orphanage?
orphanage, yes, that's what I was looking for. She leaves the orphanage at the beginning of the game to, take a leave of absence from being, she was because in the 5th game, she announces that Kiryu, she's allied to Kazuma Kiryu, and she leaves her old life behind because she's like a pop star, and she leaves that life
Yeah, like
behind.
an idol, pretty much.
Yeah, and Kiryu gets shot and hospitalized, and it starts with him being in the hospital and wondering what happened to Haruka, who left the orphanage to disappear, and you don't know what happened to her, and you find out that she got hit by a car, and she now has a baby, and then you have to figure out where that baby came from. So you travel to Onomichi to try to figure out what happened, and you come across, this gang over in Onomichi. I think it's the Yomei Alliance that they're called, and their gang of thugs and yakuza under. You play a majority of the game in Onomichi. There are a bunch of side quests and stories that you get to play in Onomichi. There's a fishing side quest, where you well, it's not fishing really, it's diving, because Kiryu does everything to the extreme. So it's diving into the water and spearing fish and capturing fish until you capture the illustrious octopus. It took me a couple of tries to get it because I had to get a better spear. Like, you can upgrade your spear to get a better spear to kill the octopus. So I did that, and I killed it, and I brought it back to the guy who wanted it to finish that quest and everything. And you get some pretty good stuff. There's also the whole bar thing. There's a bar in Onomichi where you meet some people, and some you recruit to your baseball team because you do play baseball in this game, and others you recruit to your gang because there's also the whole gang thing in this game where you build up a gang to face the what are they called? It's all those wrestlers that are there again. Did you get to that point, Darren, in the game?
No, I only got to like chapter 2 pretty much and stopped playing it then.
Because in this Wikipedia page, there's really not a whole lot to go upon. Like, I kind of forgot a little bit of it.
Like, yeah, I know, like, you're doing, like, it's the clan creator stuff where you recruit people and you fight the, like, New Japan pro wrestling wrestlers now. I know they have, like, a name, but I just
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for it here, and
it
it doesn't really tell me on this page. So yeah, you have the clan battles, and you go up against the clan where it has all the wrestlers from New Japan that are there. Like the Rainmaker, and they're all there. They're pretty much every freaking guy I saw last weekend on the pay-per-view is in the fucking clan, so that's cool. Um, so then if you beat them, you recruit them to your clan, and then your clan becomes bigger and bigger, and then you fight the final boss. And I got to that point, and I won, so I had the that replaces, I think, the club thing from Yakuza Zero. So
So
that
the big games are that, and then baseball.
yeah, there's that, and there's baseball. Yeah, baseball is the other game that you can play, which is pretty much you recruit people either on the street or through side stories. You recruit some baseball players to play with for you. You have to do some side stories. You have to go get, like either you have to buy them some stuff, or um, go get some stuff somewhere, go beat up a guy or whatever. And they join your baseball team at
So do
that
you
point.
actually play the game, or is it like a management sim kind of
It's kind
thing?
of a management slash you get to play a little bit.
Okay.
Like there's some moments where you step into the shoes of the bat. You only play batter, pitch or anything like that. You only bat at some certain points in the game, and that's pretty cool. I mean, Kiryu's pretty strong, so each time he came up, I hit home runs pretty much every time. So it's
Is it complicated? Is like the pitching system and the hitting system complicated, like modern sports games, or is it more like
oh no, it's not very
Sega
complicated.
Sega Genesis batting or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, it's pretty very easy. It's very easy. You don't do any fielding or pitching or anything. It's just batting that you do. The rest is all simulated, so you don't really have to worry about that. The only thing you have to worry about is getting better players, training your players, and making them better. And the final team that you have to beat, I didn't beat them because I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. Like you have to play a bunch of baseball games to upgrade your team. So you have to play against other teams to upgrade, 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 upgrade. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm tired of this. I don't want to play this anymore. So I just stopped playing it. So, but yeah, it's still pretty cool. So it's still enjoyable. And I hadn't unlocked that part of the game until the very end, like right until the final mission. I hadn't unlocked it because you have to be walking on a street, and then somebody has to intercept you and say, "Hey, do you want to be like the manager of our baseball team?" And I hadn't gotten that unlock yet. I did that scene hadn't played out for me. So I was like, "When do I get to play baseball? I'm at the very end of this game. When do I get to play baseball?" And I was looking online, and I was like, "How do I unlock this?" And I couldn't find. And they were saying this guy's supposed to walk up to you and ask you, and I was like, I never saw this guy anywhere. And then I did a side story, and just walking back, it just unlocked, just like that. Oop. Okay. Well, there we go. Okay. I guess that's cool. So yeah. I mean, I really did really enjoy this game. Uh, as you can imagine, the ending is pretty emotional. It's not, it does tug at the heartstrings because this is Kiryu's last game. So it's really the ending is really really good, and Beat Takeshi is in this, so that's pretty cool. So he's the I guess the main villain slash anti-hero slash something like that. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna spoil anything for you guys, but yeah, he's in this game, and
No, I know he's beat the catches in it though. He's in the back of the box, so he is the game
yeah,
box.
exactly.
And I've seen them in trailers anyway. There, so
hmm So you have New Japan Pro wrestlers, Tanahashi, Tenzan, Okada, Kojima, Naito, and Yano, who are pretty much in this game. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I won't say too much because I know you guys are gonna play it, so I don't really want to spoil anything for you. So, but yeah, it's story's fantastic. There's the side stuff is fun. You know, you get to do a couple of things. The deep water fishing, the bar, like the bar conversation thing is pretty cool. You got to get that conversation going between you and people in the bar, and you have to answer the correct thing. Like somebody's telling a story and blah blah blah. Like, oh, my daughter's going to date this guy, and I don't know what to do. What should I answer? And then you get a multiple choice thing, and it's like
Yeah, there's like one serious one, like the late answer, and there's like one or two of the silly answers. Like
yeah, it's like
don't
oh you should let her be, or I farted, or I need to go to the bathroom, or some stuff like that, like some stupid stuff like that. And then if you answer that, it's like everybody looks at you and what are you saying? It's like okay, no, I'm sorry. Like I tried it to see what would happen, and it's just like they look at Kiryu and you know how serious Kiryu is. It's like I don't know. It's just like this whole it's pretty funny. I mean, there's some really humorous stuff. Like you see the return of certain characters from previous Yakuza games that come back into this game. I won't spoil too much, but yeah, you see a couple of those guys come back. So yeah, I highly recommend it. One of my favorite games of the year for sure. And I can't wait to see where they go with the. Well, it's not called Yakuza anymore. It's going to be called something else. So I can't remember what the name is.
Judgment.
Judgment. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know where they go with Judgment. So, yep, that's exciting to see what's going to happen from here with the Yakuza quote unquote series. So, yeah, highly recommended. I know Darren, you played a bit of it and you didn't.
Yeah, I was going to play through it, but it was like it came out like not too long before God of War, and then I just like was playing. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna play through. I want to play through Kiwami 2 first and play through them in chronological order. So
same here.
But then I did installed it again there because I was to listen to a track in the best music. I think when they're going through novels, and I think Alex played a track. It was like one of these boss battles in the game, and it just sounded fucking awesome. That it just made me want to go play it, but I haven't got around to it yet. But I definitely will.
And
I just hope.
Go ahead, sorry.
That 3, 4, and 5 get released this year on PS4. If not, I could just always, I really just want 5 because I could just play 3 and 4. Right? Yeah, I could play 3 and 4 because I have them on my PS3. But 5 I need to have on to come out in PS4 because, like I said before, I can't play it on my PS3 because my hard drive's too small. Even if I delete everything on it,
still same
won't
here.
download.
Having the same problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. So, and there's
I
one
did
thing.
buy 6 though. I bought the one with the shot glasses.
Okay.
The super ultimate edition, collector's edition, whatever it's called.
Right.
So I have it.
That's cool.
Okay.
We got mixed things now because people had the same game as a list, so it would be me next with number 3. But since we haven't gone to Derek yet, with number 4, we'll just go back to Derek and then we're back in this day. So Derek, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is the game that nobody's playing in the hardcore gamer world because it's a filthy casual mobile game.
Move on.
It's a Korean game that was released in English a couple months ago, so it's only been out for about 2 months now. And that game is Epic 7. It's a turn-based RPG Some people would call it a hero collector, where you're acquiring different characters, kind of like how Overwatch has other characters, and then the Paladins game or whatever. Those are heroes. So this game also has what you could call heroes. Um, and it looks absolutely beautiful. It's like the best looking mobile game I've ever seen. Um, the art style, like the 2D animated art style, is just gorgeous. It has what they call live 2D. So when you're looking at the 2D character, like in the like where your equipment screen and stuff is, like when you're looking at your character there, like they're actually moving a little bit as they're just standing there, and like the actual animation quality is so good that it has like this lifelike quality to it. It just looks so good. Um, and then when you're in the battle system, the nice thing is they're not chibi or super deformed, which is a pretty common thing with Hero Collector or like these types of turn-based Japanese mobile games. They're like actual like realistic looking proportions. They don't have huge heads and small bodies, so that I appreciate as well. Um, but it's just really addicting, and I love the way it looks. I love all the characters. It has a pretty long story mode. I did finish it on normal, and I'm going through it on hard. And actually, the story does continue into the hard mode. It's not like God of War or Red Dead Redemption quality or anything like that, but it's for a mobile game. Historically, the story modes are not really that great, but this is pretty solid. Um, yeah, I'm really addicted to the game, and it's actually stopped me from playing Monster Strike for the past several months, and I really haven't played that much at all. Um, it does some things better than Monster Strike. Like it is free to play, so you don't have to pay anything for it. If you do want to buy things, there are quite a lot of things you could buy. You could buy gold, you could buy your premium currency, you could buy items to increase your skills or upgrade your skills rather. You could buy summons at the gacha where you pull like a random character out of a pool of characters, or an artifact, which is like an equipment item. Um, so there's a lot of ways to sink your money in, but if you want to not pay any money, you don't have to grind it out. So I mean, it is grindy. Like if you don't like grindy games, like if you're not looking for something to continuously play for a long time, then it's probably not for you. But if you're looking for an RPG on your phone, I would give it a shot, definitely. Um, Even just for the visuals alone, like it looks so good.
It does look really nice. I'm watching the video of it here now on the App Store. Looks pretty cool.
The attack
It kind of
animation.
reminds me of it. It kind of reminds me of like Guilty Gear. That kind of arc system works.
Yeah, sure.
So it does. The way they do like 2D animation and stuff like that.
Yeah, each character has an ultimate skill, and some of them are just like crazy over the top, kind of like watching a Super Robot Wars game. Like there's one character that summons a giant moon and then like smashes it down on the characters. There's one guy like jumps up in the clouds and like smashes down from not quite outer space, but like really high up in the air, like smashes down on the enemies and like big explosion. Like it's just so good looking. Yeah, I don't know how detailed to go into it, but I really like it a lot. It's a great mobile game. Like it could be on like a Vita or like 3DS. It doesn't feel just like a crappy mobile game. Like it feels like a full not a console game, but like a handheld game, you could say. So yeah, I'm playing it right now. I'm just trying to farm for from items.
Yeah, I'll have to try it out. Then I actually never heard of the game until you talked about it there, but like looking it up there, so yeah, it looks pretty cool. I might try it out. Like I'm not completely against mobile games. I just want to try like some that's actually pretty good. I never really delve into a lot, but I know there's a lot of great ones out there. Like I know you loved Monster Strike. Problem is, it never came out here until like way later. So it
Yeah, and
did.
then they just
So
shut it down the servers not too long after it came out.
Yeah, and
Which
it's only
sucks.
available in Japan now, so which sucks. But yeah, I'll try it out
Yeah, the
and
nice
see
thing
how
about
it
this
is.
game is that it's new, so there's a community behind it, and there's English players, which unlike Monster Strike, that's all now the only servers left, I think, is the Japanese server. So if you don't speak Japanese,
Mhm.
there really aren't that many English people that do videos or stream on Twitch or anything. It's just all mostly Japanese players. But the nice thing about this game is that there's enough of a community out there. Like if you look it up on Twitch, there'll be probably more streamers than like Fallout 76 or Dead Cells. So it's popular too. It's not like just some unknown game.
Have you played Dragalia Lost?
I tried it and I don't like it because it's an action game that requires the touchscreen, and you have to put your finger on the screen and like move it around to move the character, and then you tap to attack. Like
Oh,
this
you're
game
not
is
rusty, yeah.
turn-based, so you don't have to worry about like
Yeah.
that part of it. The nice thing about this game is actually you can play it on emulator. So there's an emulator for Android called Nox that I use on PC. So if I want, I can just play it on my PC. Um, it also works on tablet, like I have it on my tablet as well, and you can log in. You have either your Google account, your Facebook account, or
Okay.
like they have their own account thing that you can log into. Um, yeah, it's fun. Like I'm watching. There's a Korean streamer that I like to watch.
Hmm.
Class Bozo is his name. Like he
Class photo.
speaks some English. He speaks some English, but it's not great. But he's just super funny, and he's like in his 40s or 50s too, and he uses like an avatar instead of showing his actual face on the screen.
Okay.
It's like this red panda. It kind of looks like a raccoon, but it's a red panda. And it tracks his movements, and it moves its mouth when it's talking, and actually it smiles, or it has like the same reactions that he has.
Okay.
But he's just really funny. Like he just has a really infectious laugh, and he plays a lot of like meme kind of songs and stuff when he's doing different things in the game. Like whenever what he does for viewers is he'll log into their accounts, and then he'll do some summons and to see if you get anything good. And then at the end, like if you get something good, he'll play. It's like I don't know if it's a '70s song or like a disco song. It's called like Celebration or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Like he plays that, and that's just and he's a really good singer too. Like actually on New Year's Eve, for me it was like 3 o'clock, in the afternoon there in Korea. But
Hmm.
he went to a karaoke club, kind of like if you were playing the karaoke mode in Yakuza, where you have like this room with a TV and playing the music, and then it scores you at the end.
Yeah.
So he was doing that for like an hour, and he was really good, and he was getting like in the 90s like each time. So
Hmm.
it's just really funny and really entertaining. So
That's great.
that's one thing that's really missing from like Monster Strike, which I loved for years. Is there's just really no English community anymore. They're just unless you're in Discord, like that's about it. Like there's nobody's making videos. Like there are some here and there, but nothing with any regular schedule. So that's kind of part of the reason why I like this game is it's so fresh and new that there's a community around it, and it's also fun to play. And yeah, I like it a lot.
I'm sure they probably did say it though. But, yeah, just you can tell me again. Did they basically give a reason why they shut down the Monster Strike here in the West?
Not really. No.
Okay, that sucks. Probably wasn't a big of audience, I assume, was it? Then I guess that probably would have been the reason.
Probably, yeah. I know they pissed off the community. They removed, so they had like an online co-op system in that game where you could play with somebody like no matter where they were, but they took that out, and they said like, oh, we wanted this to be focused on local co-op, like going to a pizza or like an arcade and playing co-op. It's like nobody does that anymore in America anyway. in like Japan, sure, but not here.
Yeah, exactly.
So when they took that out, like they lost a lot of people. They just stopped playing, so that nobody was going to be spending any money anymore. They brought it back, but it was just too late by then, and I think they had like one last marketing push where they had actual commercials on TV, but it just didn't work, and I think they just pulled it after that.
That's been going on a while now, like 2 years or something, hasn't it?
I think it was like August of 2017 when it stopped, around there.
Oh, 2017, so over a year then.
It's weird too because you would think that. So when Epic 7 launched in English, you have the option of, so Korean players that were on the Korean server, they have the option of putting it in English if they want to, which is really cool. So I don't understand why Monster Strike, which is, in Japanese, why there is not an English option there. Because I think that would certainly help with bringing back some of the English community. So I think it's possible. It's just maybe the programming on their end, it's just not, it wasn't done
Too much
very
work,
well in the beginning or
too much work
something.
or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh well.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be sure to check that Epic 7 out and get back to you. That's a new game for me to try out. Anyway, my number 3 is a game that is a Sony exclusive. Actually, my top 3 games are all Sony exclusives. So yes, it's been another good year for Sony PlayStation games. Not so much the Xbox side of things, like I said, because I haven't got mine hooked up. Yeah, this game is stars a certain web-slinging superhero. It's probably the best game that is ever done with this licensed character. It's done by Insomniac that did the Ratchet & Clank series, Sparrow, and Resistance. It's, of course, Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, to give it its full title. I was interested in playing this though, mainly because it was Insomniac, and it's like, hopefully it was a good Spider-Man game because they're sort of few and far between.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the Spider-Man 2 game on the PlayStation. The one I remember playing was Shattered Dimensions on the Xbox 360, where you play as the 4 different Spider-Mans. I kind of liked that from what I played, and that was probably one of the last good ones. Most of the ones that came out since then were like, lackluster from what I gather.
Did you play
really wanted
Web of Shadows, I think it was called?
I played I didn't play Web of Shadows. I played the I forget what it's called. I think I played the one before that.
Okay.
I forget what it's called now, but I actually own it, but I forget what it's called. But no, I don't have that. I didn't play that one now. There was like that Shattered Dimensions, like Edge of Time or something. There's another one which I can't remember, which I have, and that Web of Shadows one. And then there's like, a few other ones, I think. But yeah, Spider-Man is probably the best Spider-Man game there is. Like, this is pretty much a reboot, not reboot, but this is probably like a, very much like what Rocksteady did with Batman Arkham Asylum. They pretty much, made a good game with Batman license, which then back then there was few and far between as well. And Insomniac have done the same thing with Spider-Man here, where like I didn't buy this game, I wanted to rent it, and I rented it out. And pretty much one of the general consensus before I get into it is a lot of people tend to platinum this game, so they did. I know you platinumed it,
Yep.
Dennis, didn't you? I know a lot of people did. I platinumed it. I actually got a lot of platinums. Well, some good few platinums this year not compared to like the ones who go make their lives about getting platinums now, but I got like 7 or 8 or so this year. But Spider-Man is it stars Peter Parker, of course, and this one takes place it's a few years after he has become Spider-Man and going around. And he's working with Otto Octavius, on trying to create this sort of synthetic thing to help, veterans like recover, like use their limbs and stuff like that again, like who lost their limbs, like just kind of this genetic thing just to sort of help them with that there. But the problem is that Norman Osborn comes along and sort of tries to shut this program down, and then Otto Octavius kind of, certain things happen, and like the whole story thread with it is very interesting. Like that's another thing I like about this. Is probably one of the best things about the game as well. Like I actually think that the story is well done. Yep. I think the characters, especially the thread with Otto Octavius, is well done, and the actual cutscenes, like the real cutscenes as well, I think they look very good. Yep. Look brilliant. Like the actual facial animations look really good. That could have been a really well done, like CG animated film or something. But they actually already done a well done CG animated film with Spider-Man Into the End, Spider-Verse, which I know you've seen, Dennis, and very much liked. I've yet to see it, but a lot of people think it is fantastic. But there's also like side stuff as well, like the whole thing with Mary Jane, his relationship with Mary Jane, and one with Aunt May, and also what's his name? Oh fuck, Mr. Lee. I forget his first name.
Herman
Lee. That's it. Yes, thank you. Like he's like sort of is the head of the, what is it called, like the foundation to sort of help like homeless people and pretty much like that. With Aunt May, I forget exactly what it's called now.
Yeah, I can't remember. Is it the health?
Oh wait, it's Martin. I'm sorry.
Martin Lee. Yeah.
Martin Lee. That's it. Yes, sorry. I don't. Yeah, Herman Lee. I thought. Yeah. Trying to remember names for characters. If I knew that, I don't really know that character that much though. That's why I wouldn't remember as much as say Norman Osborn or Otto Octavius now. Like I wouldn't have known who he was until I saw the trailer, the first gameplay trailer of Spider-Man when it was first shown.
Yeah.
And you've sort of there's a little relationship as well, and find out about Martin Lee and kind of how he actually becomes Mr. Negative, his little backstory as well. So cutscenes and that there, and how Otto Octavius kind of becomes Dr. Octopus, and of course the Sinister Six in this game. You have Shocker, you have Electro, and Rhino and
Sinister Six,
Scorpion and that there. Yeah. And pretty much that's probably one of the things about it though. It's not, they're not really in it for long.
No.
They're really come in at the end of the second act, and that's pretty much it. And you do a few missions, and then they're pretty much out of the way then after that. So they're pretty much, it just seemed to be there just for fan service, I guess. It just seemed that way, but when they're there, they're good for what they are. The boss battles you do with them are pretty fun nonetheless. And this game pretty much probably would not have worked as well if the traversal, if web slinging around New York City was not up to par, and thankfully it is. It's just very fun web slinging around New York, just swiping along, jumping on and doing the web sips just from top of buildings, just so you gain speed and motion and just fly through the air and just get to certain parts, quick
flows
enough.
very well.
Yeah, I did a few fast travel things, but a lot of the time I just liked web slinging around and just getting from one area to the next though, and just a lot of fun. I like the combat. The combat's a bit similar to Arkham Asylum, but not exactly. I think the combat in it's better, but this one's no slouch. I like the different gadgets you unlock. One you just basically web bomb or something where you just plant the ball and then just explodes and just webs surrounding enemies and stuff like that. Ones you can it's pretty much a stealth system though as well, where you can basically be a bit like Batman, where you can go around and web enemies up and catch them without them catching you and stuff like that as well, or weapons sticking them to the walls and stuff, and of course you just beat them up and that there. And yeah, I've talked about this, Dennis talked about it in a previous podcast. I talked about it as well, and not too long ago either. But it's just a really well built game. I very much dug it. Like the story's great, the characters very well done, and I just enjoyed the whole aspect of it. Like I wouldn't have platinum it if I didn't enjoy it, but I did, and I platinumed it, and that is my number 3, Marvel Spider-Man.
Marvel.
So, what is your number 3, Derek?
My number 3 is the game I bought the Nintendo Switch for, and I'm ashamed to say that I haven't completely finished it, but I love the way it looks. I love the music. I love the combat system. I do enjoy the characters a lot. I guess the one gripe I would have is that there's not really a main story, an overall story that involves other characters. Like all the characters have their own separate story, and that is Octopath Traveler. I finished the stories for 4 of the 8 characters, but not the last 4. And I believe after you finish all 8, there is like a final dungeon as well that I have not done. But I've like unlocked all the character classes, and I have like super OP characters, and it's a lot of fun. The music is a lot of fun to listen to. The grind doesn't bother me too much because I'm used to grinding in games and I enjoy it. I think my favorite story is probably the dancer class character. I'm gonna have to look up the names because I have a bad memory.
I only remember Tressa and Hanet, the hunter, which is the class I started with.
That's also the class that I started with as well. Primrose, the dancer. Her story, like I finished hers completely. That's a really good story. It has some real like Game of Thrones type stuff in it, which I really liked. I finished Therion's story, who's the thief. His was pretty good as well. And Hanet, I also finished hers. Hers was okay. And then I finished Cyrus's story. Again, his was kind of okay. I did like a lot of the Tressa's story that I've done so far. And then Ulbricht's was kind of picking up as well. And then I have to do Elfin and then Ophelia are the last of the 4.
I think I've got Hanet, Therion, Ophelia. Cyrus like the sorcerer, isn't it?
Scholar, and then you can get
Scholar, yes, yeah,
yep.
Scholar, yeah, and Tressa. That's the only ones I've gotten thus far. I haven't gotten the other 3.
Okay. Yeah, it's cool how you can pick one of the 8 characters to start out with at the beginning, and then you go around the world and you meet the other characters. I know one of the gripes that a lot of people have had with the game is that there's not a lot of character interaction, and there's not like an overall story that involves all the characters. Like each character has like their own story, and the other characters are just kind of there. There are some little moments where they do communicate with each other. That does add some, character and some depth to them, but they definitely could have more of that. And I hope I think they did already confirm that they're like thinking of a sequel because it sold really well. I know that, but I hope they do something with that in the next game. Yeah, it's a turn-based RPG. I think it's by the developers of Bravely Default, I believe.
It's not. I think it's. I thought it was, but it's actually not. It's a different team. But I think a few people worked on it now. Okay. Because I think they're actually apparently they're going to be releasing a third Bravely Default game. Well, apparently, I assume so because they released a tweet there recently. It said 2019. It was this picture, and people assume they're going to have a third Bravely Default game coming. But yeah, I thought that was the case now, though. But I think it's a few people now, but not the actual team itself.
Here it says it was started by the producers Masashi Takahashi and Tomoya Asano, who previously headed the Bravely series. So it looks like
Okay.
some of the
So
producers, but not like the whole
yeah,
team or studio.
yeah, yeah,
But it does share some similarities to those games in the battle system,
yeah,
and in just
exactly.
having the
Yeah,
really good music as well. Um, like you can store up these. I don't know what the official term is. But like each turn you get like an orb essentially, and you have a maximum amount you can hold. I think it's 5 or 6, and like each turn you can use up as many of those orbs as you want, and that'll give you like an extra attack. And some attacks, like some of like your special attacks, like the more of those you use up, the stronger they'll be. Um, and it has a job system as well, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics, or even the Bravely default game, where you can switch. Like you have a main job, and then you can switch your sub job as well. I'm sorry, you have a main job, and then you have a sub job that you can switch,
Mm.
um, and that'll give you like way more, customization options in combat. But yeah, it's just gorgeous looking. It has this really nice looking, like a pop up book, like look
yeah. It's
quality
like a
to it.
pop,
Like
yeah,
it's
pop up book slash diorama or
yeah,
whatever.
it's like it's 2D, but it has like this 2.5D look to it, like a pop up book sort of. But it just looks great, and the music is just awesome. One I love playing the game, and I need to get back to it. There's a lot of games I didn't get to finish this year. I spent the last.
Well, technically, you finished a lot of it though. So you did though. So you
I
technically
did,
you didn't
yeah,
like finish
I
every
did.
single though, but like you finished a whole lot of it though. Like you said, like I didn't get to any of it. Like I only played 7 hours. How much? How many hours did you put into it?
Around 70, I think.
There you
And
go,
I
70
did a,
hours.
I
So
did a ton of grinding and stuff. So yeah, I put a lot of time into it for sure. I have to get back to it. I wish there would be DLC, but I don't think there is going to be any.
nah, I haven't said
So
anything, so I don't think there would
yeah,
be.
but yeah, a really fun game. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's one I definitely, like I said earlier, it's one I definitely have to get back to play this year. Okay, number 3,
Number
Dennis.
3. Um, this is actually a game that came out last year that I did not have the time to play,
Oh wow, it's high on the list.
and that I actually played this year, but I'm putting it here because there's a version of it that came out this year. So I'm put,
It's your list, Dennis.
yeah.
I don't care. It's like your list,
But
so
yeah, number 3 is Near Automata, that I absolutely loved, absolutely adored this game a whole lot. I played all the endings, of course. You get all the different endings, A, B, C, D, E. I played all of them. Took a while. It took a very long time to play, but I got through all of them, and really, really enjoyed the. I got really attached to pretty much every character in the game. 2B, 9S, and is it A2?
yeah,
A2,
it too,
yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. It starts off pretty much innocently. You play first off as it's 2B, right? You play as first.
Yeah.
You play as 2B, the female android. Um, you go through your story with 9S, and you see it through to the end, and it does end rather well. It doesn't end that badly. The first like ending A is pretty okay. Then you go back, you play pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the same game except for a couple of different things from the perspective of 9S instead of 2B. You play as the from the perspective of 9S, so you see because at certain points they get separated, so you see what Nines was doing back then, or what he was living and everything, and they come back together at the end, and it's pretty much the same ending as the A. And then when you go to play through C, you play as the three of them, 2B, 9S, and A2, which is another android. So I think it's a continuation, right? Like a
Yeah, it takes place after the events of the first two
yeah,
endings, and then it takes place the events afterwards. So it is, and then that's pretty much the rest of the endings. Saying like, say if you do make a choice at the end of the route C, you get one ending C. If you choose someone else, you get ending D, and then you get ending E by getting all the other those
yeah.
those endings in.
And which is those are like the main endings, A, B, C, D, and E. But you can get all the other letters as endings. F, G, H. I got a couple of them. Like there's some stuff you can do, and it's just like at one point you get offered I think it's a fruit or something like that by the captain of the army, and he says, "You keep this. I don't know if you want to taste it. If you do, I don't know what's gonna happen since you're an android. I don't know what's gonna happen to you." So I said, "Okay." So I I take the apple and I eat it, and then it's like you taste the apple and you drift into unconsciousness and you drift away, and then the credits roll by really fast, and then it's like
Yeah.
game over. I was like, "What?" Okay. And then you have to reload your game from where you were or where you saved the last time. So I was like, okay, I didn't really expect that. Or you can just take out because you have a OS chip inside because you kind of you're playing around with different types of chips like to give you more power and more like you have survival chips, you have combat chips and other types that you're like stacking up to give your different powers to yourself. And if you take out your OS chip, the game just ends there. And the credits roll by, and then it's over. It's like, okay, well, you can encounter different types of endings, which is funny and cool at the same time. So yeah, I thought this game was really 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 enjoyable. I love the combat. I love the interactions between the 2B and 9S, and later on A2 comes along at one point. Um, it takes a weird turn in the third chapter. Like when
Yeah.
A2 comes along, it's like, whoa, okay. Like pretty much at the beginning of the chapter, it opens up and something. Well, I think pretty much everybody who wanted to play it played the game so far. So
I haven't played it and I want
Well,
to.
Darren
I'm waiting
okay,
still
for its
wants to play
sale.
it, so
okay.
yeah.
So I won't say anything then. I won't spoil it for you. So something happens in the third chapter, which is kind of throws you back a little bit. You're like, whoa, what the hell? Okay, and then you play as mostly as A2, I think, right? In that one.
Yeah.
So like the third android, and you go back to places that were already visited and do some stuff from there, and then you learn the
Yeah,
real
with
truth about
Pascal
the
and
androids and all that, and where they came from and what happened and all that. And I thought it was really really well thought out because the first chapter you play, you're like, okay, well, it's a nice little game, nice little story, and it's all good and all that. And then you play the other chapter, and then the other chapter, and then you're like, okay, it gets deeper and deeper and more convoluted and more like a bunch of stuff happens and explains the story, explain the relationship between the androids and the humans and what happened. And I thought it was really well thought out and really well executed, really well done. So yeah, one of my I have to say this is Platinum, right? That did so
Yeah.
it is by far my favorite Platinum game, to be sure. So really love this game a whole lot, and well worth playing if you can. Derek, if you can get your hands on it, it's really worth playing. just for the ending also.
Yeah, I
was
want to.
special. The credits.
Isn't there? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What you were gonna say?
I was gonna say, isn't there some sort of like Game of the Year edition coming out or something?
Game of the Yoha edition
Yeah.
is known as, which is just basically it, and like that one piece of DLC that had to eventually fight Square Enix executives. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, Game of the Year
Uh,
version. It's not a
yeah.
whole different because I think there's only one piece of DLC that's like
Yeah, like I said,
2
that's
hours
just
long or
that
something.
piece of DLC where you fight Square Enix execs.
Played on console?
Yeah, it's coming out in
Yeah.
console.
No, I mean, Dennis, did you play it on a console?
I started playing it on PC, but then I switched to console because the thing is that I don't know what happened. Like I got it on PC, and I got to a point where the game,
Oh, is this where like graphics fucked
yeah,
up in you or
the
something?
game kept crashing constantly on PC. So I was like, okay. So I bought it on PS4 and played the entirety of it on PS4. So yeah, that's what happens. That's what happened to me.
Did you find the secret shop that let you buy the trophies?
No, I did not find that.
Okay. I never did it myself now on the PC version, but there is like a shop that you find. I don't know how you actually access it, but there's this like secret shop now that lets you buy the trophies. So whoever's got a platinum in that game, I kind of like to know how many of them actually did that, or did it the actual legit way.
So you can just buy the trophy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's a secret shop you can access that lets you buy the trophies
That's crazy.
in the game.
Yep. Just go on there and buy the
Does that guy
trophy.
not like trophies? The guy that made the game?
What's
I
I?
said, does the guy that made the game, does he dislike trophies or something?
I don't know what the deal is there. That's just one of the things I did.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. That's a weird
It's kind
thing.
of cool, but it's weird too.
That's really weird.
Like I got a good chunk of the trophies here anyway. Like say, like I got a good chunk of the endings. I did like, but like most of the things is like if I want to get some of the rest of the achievements on my thing here, it's basically like get all the weapons and max out all the weapons and stuff like that. There, it's like screw that. It's just like grinding pretty much at a point then, which I couldn't be arsed doing. Like I got 31 out of 47 achievements, 2/3 of the achievements.
Yeah, there are a lot of them in this game, I think. So I think there's one for getting all the endings. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like get all weapons upgraded to the highest level, all pods upgraded to the highest
Yeah.
level. Like that's 80% of all archives. Like just basically a lot of the grinding.
Yeah, that's a
stuff,
lot
which,
of grinding.
like,
That's a lot of grinding.
yeah, which I'm not gonna bother doing. Like I played this for like 40 odd hours, so I did through all the routes.
Yeah, with all of the all the different chapters and all that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yeah, it's very good, very worth playing. For the story alone and for the characters, which I really got attached to and really liked. So yeah, it's
What did you right, okay, this is a question now. If you say the right answer, I will not kill you. What did you think of the soundtrack?
it's great. It's fantastic.
That's the right answer.
It's a very good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
The best track in the game is the one when you're in like the theme park
Yep.
area.
Yep.
Like like that one's awesome.
Yep. There's different versions of the sound of the song also.
Yeah.
Like you get the combat version, like very up tempo, and then the calm version where you're not doing anything, just walking around.
Yeah. And also if you're hacking like an enemy with 9S, you get like the 8-bit version as well.
Yeah, I mean it's really, 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 very well made. Really well made game for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, just glad like it got like an audience, so a lot of people really like this game. Just one of the sort of sleeper hits of 2017. Like I played the original Nier, so I did, and I didn't really like. I thought it was pretty good though, but it has a cult following. Like I like this, like the story and like the music, the soundtrack, and I think I probably like the soundtrack in the first Nier more than Automata, but it's still a great soundtrack. So, and like I like this, like some of the story. Again, it's pretty much like a Yoko Taro game. Like it's done by Yoko Taro. It was done by Cavia. Did the Dragon Guard, because like the Nier and Dragon Guard series are kind of connected.
Yeah,
in a
that's
way,
what I was
so
reading
they are.
here.
Yeah. And like Nier Automata takes place, I think, like 10,000 years after the events of Nier.
Yeah.
So it is like set in the real far future. And the thing of like Nier, like, is like the characters, and of course, like in Nier, you go through the first route, and then from route B on, which you pretty much start like from halfway through the game, and then you unlock it, you get a bit more information sort of each time then, and then once you get the main endings then, and then you choose the ending D, and that's like the one like, do you want to erase yourself from existence? You say yes, and then it erases your save. So you do, so that's the thing from that it's in this one as well, but it's not like, you don't need to do it now in Automata. But if you want to get ending D and get 200 points, achievement points, which you did, then you have to do that and get the ending D. But yeah, I really like. I didn't expect you to like it this much to be so highly though. Like I know you liked it, but it's good to see you enjoyed it.
I really, really,
Just finally,
really loved that game a whole lot. So
yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, it's a great game. Okay, it is my turn, isn't it?
Yep, you're back to you.
I think so.
Yeah.
Number 2.
My runner-up. I think this might be Derek's number 2 as well. If we're sick of the same game now. Dennis already talked about it on another entry in the series.
Yep.
Earlier. Is it Yakuza Kiwami 2?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. We both share the same number 2. So I think we both share the same number 1.
I think so, yeah, considering you haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, I think we all have the same number 1.
I think we all have the same game of the year. That's a first. So yeah, Yakuza Kiwami 2. So much like Dennis played the other game that came out last year, me and Derek actually played the sort of remake of the second Yakuza game that takes place a year after the events of Yakuza Kiwami, where you play, of course, as Kazuma Kiryu, or Kiryu Kazuma, and basically the story beats, and this is the Tojo clan's on its sort of last legs, and if you want to survive, there's like this planned merger, I guess, with the Omi Alliance. Some shit goes down, and all hell breaks loose, and of course it's up to Kazuma Kiryu to sort things out. Me and Derek actually talked about this game at length, so we did on a Yakuza Kiwami 2 special. We pretty much talked about the story, we talked about like the sub-stories, and we talked about the wonder that is the Grand Cabaret Club Grand Prix, the Cabaret Club minigame, which is one of the best minigames that has ever been made in a video game.
That's for sure.
I really want to play that though.
The differences between this time round is actually when I'm away and finished it. Unlike it didn't do with 0. I did the first 2, but I did it in this one, which there is like nice little throwbacks to Yakuza 0.
Yeah, I really like that a lot.
The certain hostess in it. It's like, oh, that's nice, and it's nice little throwbacks as well. And that's one of the things I liked about that mode. I pretty much did it because I just loved doing it so much. I really got stuck in that last battle. I had to do it 3 times, where I lost by like a 10,000 yen or something.
Crazy.
It was like flipping I was like so close, and it was like heartbreak. But eventually I did it though. But it's a really great mode where you basically gather some hostesses up and take care of this cabaret club, and give them to customers, and certain customers have certain requirements where a customer wants someone who's sexy or funny or cute, and basically you match them up depending on the smiley face or frowny face, if it's not matched, or big smelly purple face or whatever, if it's like it's the perfect match and stuff like that, and just like funny, just get it's just really great, just the money gathering in and stuff like that there now. Like the combat, like this is on the Yakuza 6 engine now, that I think it's the Dragon engine. So since you've already played Yakuza 6, Dennis, then you would pretty much know what the game looks like. It looks gorgeous. It's very fun to go around and look at the way Kamurocho and Sotenbori looks in this game. You go back to Sotenbori in this one, which was only Kamurocho and Yakuza, but you go back to Sotenbori for certain events in this one. And the main story, I think, is quite good. I did not see the end coming. There was a little twist at the
I
end.
didn't either.
I did not see that coming. There is story threads I kind of did see coming, and one of them I did say at the start of the podcast. I will say it to you now, Dennis. I'll let you wait until you play the game. There's a certain thing at the start of the game. I was like, okay, that's so and so. I was like, okay, I think I know who that is, and I was pretty much spot on without even realizing it. And like, it's like this. It has this here thing. It's like the Omiya lands, and there's also this other sort of clan. It's this Korean one called the Jinwon Mafia, who are kind of like the story involves them as well. And a certain event that happened like in 1980. No, it wasn't 1986, was it? Yeah,
I think yeah.
It was 1986, because it did, yeah. And you do see like a young looking Kazuma Kiryu, so you do young Kazuma, so you do, and sort of certain events that happen there, and it's just that I like really enjoyed the story. I thought the Ryuji Goda is like kind of like the main antagonist, but then like you find out there's like someone else sort of behind this, like in the strings as well. At the end, which like I said mentioned before, is like one of those little twists that did not see coming, which was really good. And I just love playing these games. I'm just so glad I finally got around to playing this series, despite having them for so many years beforehand, like the PS2 games, but I just never played them. But thanks to Zero, I'm just really into the series now, and I'm looking forward to playing 3, 4, 5, and 6. And
same here. Yeah, I'm glad I got into the series, because it's definitely become one of my favorite series of all time.
It's very good.
And I've only played the first 3, so. But I do have 3 and 4 on PS3. I bought them from video game. It's like some online website that's from Canada. I don't know if it's like Video Games Canada or Video Game Plus or something. But they had like reprints of the PS3 versions, so I bought those.
Oh yeah, it's like Video Games Plus.ca or something.
I think that's
was it?
Yeah.
I remember. I think if that's the same site, that's the one I imported Okami from years ago for PS2, like a month before it came out here. And like Final Fantasy 12 as well, like shortly before they came out in UK, because I got this thing that made me help play import discs.
Come on.
So if that's the same site, that's pretty cool. If it's still around.
So I do have 3 and 4 ready to play, but I want to see if the PS4 version comes out, so I can play that one.
I think 4 is out this month in Japan. There's no news yet of whether 3 is going to be over here. But
I don't think there's been any announcements for here.
Yeah. Just 3's out already in Japan on PS4. And
I'm pretty sure it's going to come around.
I would think so, based on how well the games have been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they've gotten a new big fan base now, thanks to like the Zero. And like a lot of people really liked Zero. Like the fact is that was my favorite game of last year, and this one's my runner-up of this year. It goes to show that I very much really like this series now. So I do. Yeah, it's just a fantastic game, and some of the sub stories are, you know, wacky as ever. Like I mentioned one on the podcast itself that involves babies. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. Yeah, I think
that was
Yeah,
in
that,
Quick
okay.
Look, I
Yeah,
believe.
that's where I saw it. Yeah, okay.
The
Yeah.
one where they showed the babe that go around with the neighbors. When I saw that, I lost. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the magic
Yep.
of the Yakuza series. I'm very much looking forward to what Judgment has. See, well, it looks very interesting indeed. This sort of set in the same universe, I guess, but like there's this whole investigative aspect to it now. But the combat looks pretty cool.
I still need to look at that
also,
video. I haven't seen any of it yet.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Also, I actually just played through the Majima Saga there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Here, I finally got around to it 4 months after I finished the game. Yeah, I played through it, and it's short. It's nice. I very much like the sort of conclusion to a certain character's arc, I guess, that you meet in Zero. It's Makoto. Like if you've seen the trailers, then it's Makoto's in the Majima Saga. Yeah, and you see like you come across her, and I like her little wee sort of wrap up. So it's very nice. It's like 3 chapters long, and you unlock them as you progress through the story. But I just basically, like what I did, of course, I waited 4 months though. But it's probably preferable just to play them all at once. It's not that long. It's like 90 minutes to 2 hours or something.
Yeah, but it's definitely worth playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just wish, that I really like the way you fight as Majima with the knife. Just like fucking.
Oh, yeah.
And like his heat attacks. I love the heat attack he did where he's like surrounded by a few people and he just like stabs one of them and then like stabs another or whatever. And like he flips it in the air and then kicks it and like hits another guy with it. And he goes like, "You're so pathetic," and then just like takes out of the guy and he just goes and dies pretty much. But yeah, it's just I can't say anything more about it though. Like I've talked about it before. Just roll on more of the Yakuza. I just want to play more of it. Like I said, like Derek said, I want to wait in 3 because the PS3 version cut a lot of content out from it in the West. Like the hostess stuff, I believe, was cut, and a few other things. So if it does come out here on PS4, I wonder if that stuff is going to be brought back.
I think so.
For our version.
Well, I guess I don't know.
Sure it would be.
It'll depend on what they say for the Western release, but I know in the content is there in the Japanese version. So
yeah, they did cut one thing now that was in the original version of 3 or 4 or something now, which was I think this way was like chasing mini game where you're getting chased by this guy, like I think it was supposed to be like a transgendered guy or something.
Yeah, cutting that. They cut that out. Even though they cut that from the Japanese version.
Did they?
Yeah.
I thought they did. Okay.
And then I think that either some of the music has changed or some of the voice actors are different. I'm not sure which one of those. And
also they cut out this like quiz thing that was in the original Japanese version as well. But that was like it's like a whole thing to do with Japan, like Japanese questions, which would be no point being in the Western version anyway. So, I don't think it's even in the re-released Japanese version. But yeah. That is Yakuza Kiwami 2. If you want to say anything more, Derek, go ahead.
I don't think so. I mean, we talked about it quite a bit in that special episode we did, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And I thought it was a big improvement over Kiwami 1, which was disappointing for me. And I love the throwbacks to Yakuza 0 with the Cabaret Club minigame as well as the Majima story that you unlock as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a great game, and if you like the Yakuza series, definitely, play this one as well.
Yeah,
if you didn't like Kiwami 1.
Yeah, like I recommend you try and get around to it sometime this year, Dennis.
Yeah, especially for the cabaret stuff. Like I don't want to play some more of that for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, if that was
Like
like
it's
a separate game, like on the phone, I would totally play that. Like a
Oh
mobile
yeah, me
game.
too. Me too.
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It plays pretty much the same. There's a few little it's like a few little differences, but not much. One of the differences is like the favorite time music's not played, doesn't play,
Okay.
and it's not as good as the 1 and 0.
Yeah, it's different. It's not
It's
as
still
good.
good,
Yeah.
but it's not as good.
Just like
And then the hostesses have like a what do they call that? Like a I don't know what the term is. Like they get tired easier. It seems like they have like moods or something. Is that what it is?
Okay.
I never
Yeah.
really understood exactly how that worked. I just kind of looked at it like, okay, are they happy or not? Or if they're not happy, then I'll give them the night off,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's what I used
But
to do
there's
in the
stuff
zero.
that affects that too. So
That wasn't
Yeah, it
0
was
now, so
0.
it was.
right, but there's some other icon that's on there, and I don't know. I never really understood what that was.
Oh, I think you mean like the little they're little perks, I guess.
The face?
I think that's what you're probably. No, it's not the face thing.
Okay.
No, it's like this. It's like these perks that each like hostess has.
Yeah, they seem to change though constantly, and I don't know why that is.
Maybe one of them is activated at certain points and the others aren't, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's it. What it is. Yeah.
But for the most part, it's the same. And then there's the oil tycoon that comes in at the end of every battle.
Yeah.
And if you mash on the
That's the
buttons in
difference.
time, then you'll get like a bonus.
Hmm.
So
That actually helped me with a few of the battles as well at the end.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely
Yeah,
play it
yeah,
when you
of
get
course.
the chance, Dennis. Did you buy it?
I think you're talking to Derek here.
no, did you buy it,
No, did you?
Dennis?
No,
Oh, if
no,
I
did you
bought
buy
it?
Dennis?
No, I haven't bought it. No. I was waiting to see if they were
Okay.
going to come out on PC with this one, but
Oh.
seems like they're not.
I will be. It's flipping. Karabi's not even out yet, so you're going to be probably waiting a long time for
Yeah, I
it.
know Zero's out, but yeah, there.
Yeah, but OE0 came out this year,
Mhm.
wasn't it? So you're probably going to be waiting another year, maybe.
Yeah, I'll just get it
At
on.
least
I'll
another
just
lot
get it
of
on
months.
PS4 and play it there. All right.
So what is your? I think I pretty much know what your number 2 is.
Yeah, I think it pretty much sums it up. So my number 2, you already talked about it. It's Marvel Spider-Man. Um, I loved that game a whole lot. I think the story is very good. I mean, better than very good. I think it's a great story. You know, they don't waste their time with the whole Uncle Ben is dead. Oh no, what am I gonna do? You know, it's like you know, they go into another direction with this. They go into the whole relationship with Otto Octavius, and you know, you get some Miles Morales in there. You know, the relationship with MJ and the other Aunt May and the other people around, which I thought was really, really well done, really good. The story's great. The web slinging and swinging, as you said, very well made, very well done. Um, I did everything in this game as you did. You know, I got all the trophies, got the platinum. Um, some stuff was harder than others, but yeah, it's you know, the challenges and that aren't very easy. Some of them, but you know, you just persevered and got through it through that and got all the trophies, the platinum in this. Yeah, there's very good story. The ending pretty much hit home. I mean, not hit home, but hit hard. Uh, the way that it ends, like the very last, well, not very last scene, but pretty much you know what I'm talking about, right, Darren? Like the ending of the game.
You can say I played it.
Uh,
I finished
Oh,
it.
you finished it also? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
know
don't know what you're
that
talking
you'd
about
finished
now.
it, but
No, Dark.
the whole Aunt May thing,
Oh, okay, yeah.
you know, very touching, very that whole part was really good. I think it was really well done. You fight Otto Octavius, who is your mentor and who taught you so much and everything, and you leave him there as a wreck of himself, like a completely broken man, and you're already like really in, like Peter is already shaken up, and he gets to Aunt May, and then he has to decide whether to give her the cure or cure the population, and then he kind of
Yeah,
hesitates,
because I was
and I
already.
was like, oh man, are they gonna make me decide if I do one or the other? I was like, man, I don't know. Okay,
They should have
yeah,
done that. I would have liked that.
yeah. So yeah, the whole story with the Osborns and what happens there. I think that's very, very good. Yeah, it's the entire game is really well made, very well established, and it's going to bring on like the Marvel gaming universe, which should be interesting to see where it goes from here. Because you see all the, like Sanctum Sanctorum and Avengers Tower and like Rand Industries and all those other like Marvel franchises in there, which is cool. And they can take it pretty much anywhere they want. So yeah, if this is the start of a Marvel gaming universe, I'm all for it. I'm all for a gaming universe. If they're as good as Spider-Man was, I'm aboard 100% to see where they take it next. So yep, Marvel Spider-Man is pretty much my number 2 game of the year. Follow up, runner up, if you wish, if you want.
Right. This is a first in the United Gamedom history that all three of us have the same
First
game of
time
the
ever.
year. Yeah. I thought we did back in 2012, but we
No.
did not. 2016, me and Dennis had the same game in
Yep.
Overwatch. Last year, me and Derek had the same game in Yakuza 0. This year, we all have the
Yep.
same game.
It's only me and Derek that haven't
Yep.
And it's of
shared
course,
a game of the year.
yes. And it's of course the one and only, the best game ever, Fortnite.
Yep, we all love Fortnite.
Right.
Oh, fuck that game. I never mute any game. I never mute any words on Twitter, but I had to end up muting it because just getting bogged down with fucking
Oh yeah,
Fortnite news every 5 fucking minutes.
yeah, it's insane.
So it does, like, screw this.
Especially from GameSpot, it's like, oh man, okay, please stop it.
Please stop fucking with us. I do not care if some little random fucking gear is available now.
Mhm.
The Please
But anyway,
Please
no,
Stop
we are
award
talking
for
of-
2018 is Fortnite.
Yeah, all fucking
That was the sad thing, though, is they didn't do one of them this year. They didn't do a Please Stop award. That was one of the awards that dropped in the giant bomb thing, which was sad.
Did they talk about
'cause I would have
Fortnite?
liked to see. No, I don't think
Okay.
they did. As far as I can recall, I think they might have talked about it briefly.
Okay.
But nah. Oh yes, of course it is the Sony Santa Monica. It's the reboot. Well, I guess a reboot. I guess it's the reboot, of course. God of
It's
War.
not actually a reboot. I think it's a continuation.
Well, it is a reboot in a way. It's like completely plays different to the previous God of War games, but it is a follow-up in the story aspect of things. Like, this takes place after the events of the God of War series. Now, did you play any of the previous games?
Derek?
Me or Dennis?
No, both of you.
I played 1, 2, and 3.
Okay,
I didn't
so
play
you
Ascension
played
or the
one.
PSP games.
Okay.
I played 1. That's pretty much it.
Dennis, you played one. So Derek's more into it than
Yeah.
me, Dennis. I
I
have
played-
played every single. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say I played 1 so much that I unlocked all the content, like all the secret videos and stuff. Like I beat it on the hardest mode, which I
As did
I didn't do on like 2 or 3, or since then rather.
I done it in 3. I've done it in 1 and 3. I have not done it in 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I was super into the series for sure.
Yeah, like I've played every single one on at least hard difficulty. So I have, and 2 of them on very hard. But yeah, I am a big fan of the series. I absolutely loved it on the PlayStation 2 and 3. And once I seen there was a new one coming out, I was very much looking forward to it. And the fact is, it was when I first saw the footage of it, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It actually plays a lot differently. Even if there was going to just be a new God of War game, if it was going to have the same gameplay, I'd still be up for it. But I just like that they went to this completely different, this complete change now, and the way it works, that it's this whole over the shoulder view now, rather than standard third person. And it plays a lot differently, where you don't use like the Blades of Chaos anymore until you get to a certain point in the game, of course.
Spoiler.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's played this game anyway, so.
I think everyone's played this game, and it's been out for 8 months now.
That for me, that would have been that was probably best moment for me.
Yeah, for somebody who's played the other games, I would guess that would be like a hair-raising shiver moment of the of the series.
It was just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you get told something in it though, and then you realize, oh shit, it's like you're in Helheim, isn't it? And you can't fight these enemies, and it's like, okay, you have to go back, you have to find something that'll deal with these enemies, and you're like, oh shit, I know what's going to be happening, and go back to your house, go and search underneath the hut or whatever, and you get the Blades of Chaos, and it's awesome. And also, I think at the boat ride home as well, you actually encounter Athena.
Yeah, she follows you back home, right? Yep.
Yeah, you talk to her or something for a bit, or she just talks to you, and then there's a part near the end of the game as well, where you're in Helheim, and you see kind of see a faint sort of glimpse of Zeus in the clouds as well, which is like nice throwbacks to the previous mythology. Because that is one of the changes in this one, is that it is set in Norse mythology this time. The world of Norse and Vikings and Odin and Thor
Loki.
and Loki and all the those Norse gods. And this is the best God of War game probably there is. Well, this is probably the best one.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Since my favorite one definitely since 2. Like 2 is like the pinnacle of the series previously. I think this one probably edges it out for me now. I just think it's a fantastic playing game. I loved exploring the world. I loved doing side quests. I just loved the combat, the third of the axe, throwing it around and bringing it back. Just never got old for me. I like the whole one-shot sort of aspect where it's just never cut away to anything really. I thought that was really well done. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say about it though. Like, you can go on about it as well, but I just think it's just a really well-made game, and got to commend Sam and Son and Monica for doing it. And of course, this was done by Cory Barlog, who was the head when God of War came. So basically, the 2 best God of War games were done by Cory Barlog. So if he's doing a God of War game again, I know it's in good hands.
I'm pretty sure the series is going to continue, probably not with, or maybe a little bit with Kratos, but I think it's pretty much going to be his son who's going to be aka boy, who's going to be the the guy who's going to take over, I think, in
probably
if there's other God of War games, because we kind of see what happens to Kratos when they get to the mountain there. What is it called again? The mountain of where they go and spread the ashes of
I forget what the name of the mountain is, but I know what you mean when they go through the mountain to spread the ashes of the dead mother. and basically found out about Atreus' sort of
Yep.
lineage, that he's actually like half like you kind of find it throughout the game as well, like he's half giant, half like god.
He's pretty much Loki,
Then you
right?
actually found out. Yeah, that's what they said. I was like, oh, like that was a nice
Yep.
little surprise.
Yep.
You actually find out he's Loki, and he's the one sort of in the like Norse mythology. He's the one with, and the actual word serpent apparently in Norse mythology is his son, which is pretty
Yeah.
weird. But that's the thing as well. And that kind of brings along Ragnarok and that stuff as well. So it's like really cool sort of aspect of it. And yeah, like you look at the, was it like not paintings
It's kind of a
on the wall,
mural
like,
of
murals, yes, like murals, and pretty much say that it looks like it might be that Atreus kills
Yeah.
Kratos, because it would not be surprising considering the fact that, well, Zeus kind of banished his father. Kratos killed his father. So we'll just have to
Yep.
wait and see.
what goes around comes around.
And did you get like the secret ending if you went
Yep.
back to the house?
I got it.
I think so. What was it again?
Thor.
The one you go back to the house and it just basically says sometime later, and all of a sudden like storm is happening. You open the door and you see like a down like the side view.
Yep.
Side view, and like it's just like, who are who are you, and then it just fucking shows you
Yeah.
in here, and like yeah, that's pretty much that's God of War 2.
Pretty much.
Um,
Then they continue.
yeah.
If it continues on, he wakes up and he's like, "I had this weird dream."
Yeah, had this
Yeah.
weird dream. So yeah, we're doing endgame stuff, and this is the third God of War game I have platinumed now. I have platinumed God of War 3 Remastered, Chains of Olympus, and this one. This is not very. It's a very good game to platinum now. Like I don't know, did you guys do the like the sort of extra stuff you did? Did you do like the Musselheim and those kind of extra stuff, like the challenges and that there?
I did everything except get all of the ravens or crows or whatever, and then I didn't.
Oh,
I have not been able to beat the Queen Valkyrie because
okay.
she's like
So you haven't-
freaking way too overpowered.
Yeah, she's tough to beat.
Like the difficulty spike from the other Valkyries to
Yeah.
her is like crazy. Like I feel like it's unfair, to be honest. So no,
Yeah,
I haven't.
Yeah, she's like she's one of the hardest fights, if not the hardest fight in the game. Because the fact is, she has the abilities of all the other
Yeah,
Valkyries
she
that
has
you
all the
kill.
abilities of the other Valkyries.
Yeah, and that just makes it like really tricky. I eventually did beat her though, but it took me some time to do it, nonetheless. So I do like the arena, like the sort of arena that you fight her in as well. It's like a lot of nice like it's pretty much said this, like this game looks gorgeous as well. And I was actually shocked when it's won best looking game, because I thought they were going to give it to Red Dead Redemption, and it did not. They give it to this, but this game still like looks absolutely gorgeous in certain spots. Like the first time you enter Alfheim, just looks really beautiful, and just like the different sort of worlds you go through, like Muspelheim is like this. Is it Muspelheim? End up in like Faro World, and Helheim's like pretty much like Frozen World and stuff like that. It just looks like really cool, and like the story is basically all about you going on this journey to spread the mother's ashes to the mountain, but along the way you encounter certain obstacles, like the stranger, who ends up being Baldur, and then you come across Magni and Modi. I think they're called Thor's sons. And you come across Acer, who's one of the best characters of the year.
Oh, yeah.
pretty much, and like when you're on boats as well, he tells you stories,
Yeah, he's
and
cool.
Kratos tells you stories on the boats about like these different stories. And one of the things I like about it is that if you get off on an area, it basically says we get back
Yeah.
to this later, and then once you get
We
back
can
on the
get back
boat, it
to that
says
later.
okay, where were we, and then it tells you like continues on with the rest of the story, or usually might start over again sometimes as well. It tends to happen, but that's like it's just a nice little thing that they added on.
I
To
like
this
the guy in the
game.
forge.
Uh,
The
oh,
The
the
dwarves.
dwarf.
yeah.
Oh god, what I fucking
Can't remember his name. I
remember
think
their
it has.
names.
It sounds like a wrestler's name.
I'm gonna look it up.
I really
here.
can't remember what I really like
Just one of
him.
these, one of these, one of these.
Always
Yeah,
swearing all the
just
time and
them.
everything. I like him.
Yeah, it was sometimes a
I don't know
little
why.
much, but
Yeah.
He reminded me of Michael Rooker in
Michael what?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
His character. What in Guardians of the Galaxy? What the fuck's his name in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Man. Yeah.
I'm very bad with
Having
names.
trouble with the names here. Oh, what is his
Yeah.
name? I have Quato, but that's not it. That's
no, and
Fucking-
it's Yandu.
it's-
Yandu. Yeah, there you go.
Yondu. Thank
Yeah.
you, Derek. I have to look it up here. Yeah. Let's see now. Characters. Yeah, Modi and Magni. Brock and
Brock.
Sindri.
Yeah, I knew that was a
Yeah.
wrestler's name.
So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Sorry, it's not Asia. I said, or it's Mimir. That's who it is.
Mimir,
The
Oh,
hero.
right.
Yeah, that's who you come across, and there's like also Freya.
Yep. The witch.
Who, like this
Mhm.
witch you come across in the woods for this forest area, and then you find out that she is Baldur's mother. But yeah, it's just a very cool game. Like I think I talked about it in a previous podcast. So, but like I say, I'm a big fan of the series. I just thought they just did a fantastic job with this one, and I don't have much to say. Like, you can go and talk about it for a bit, and like I don't have much to say. I just like I've really like the actual like loot system in this, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
If you can call it a loot system, yeah, it's
It's not like a really lot loot. Like, you got loads of loot
You
now,
pick up
but you do
stuff.
get like, loot
Yeah.
to sort of you pick up stuff and get like better armor and stronger. Like you use the Athathan axe and that there, but you do like have other abilities though. You use them and sort of put them onto your axe to sort of power it up more and damage enemies more and stuff like that there. And
Talismans, I think they're
Um,
called.
yeah, talismans, that's it, yeah. And to sort of power up your your armor and your like weapons and that there. Like you say, you pretty much have like the Athathan axe, you have the Blades of Chaos, and like you have a shield as well to block attacks and stuff like that as well. And yeah. I don't have much more to say though. Like, I think it's just it's just definitely was my favorite game of the year though. Just didn't really have a hard time have it as my favorite
Yeah,
game of the
I
year. It
had
was pretty much
zero
an easy
problems
pick.
with my favorite game for sure.
Like, I was very much looking forward to this game ever since it was first announced, and it did not disappoint. I probably played about 30, 40 hours of it, maybe more, to get the platinum, and that was it.
Wasn't very much anticipating on my side, but turned out to be a good surprise. It turned out to be way better than I thought. That's for sure. Way better than I thought it would be. I really loved the story and the beats of the story and the characters, the voice actors. Even the kid was not annoying. So,
He was annoying at spots though when he became like when he
Yeah.
knew he was a god and he acted a bit
Yeah.
like a fucking
yeah, but
That's
that
true.
rat.
was I think that was what they wanted. They wanted you to
Yeah.
find him to be a little prick. So
Little brat.
yeah, when he comes back to being normal, then you're okay, cool. You're cool now. Okay. Very touching moment when they spread the ashes on the mountain. Yeah, it was a nice little moment. So I look forward to see what they do with.
Jotunheim. That's the name of the world I go
Okay.
to at the end. I should have known that. Yeah, that's the Jotunheim. Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what they do next with this series. I'm sure there's going to be a sequel, and maybe the last time we see Kratos.
I said this won't be out until probably 2021 or 2022
Yeah, I'm
at the
thinking
latest
2021 or 22,
on the PlayStation 5.
something like that. So, yep, I'm excited to see what they go where they go for that. But yeah, I pretty much share your your enthusiasm for the game. I mean, I don't see any. There's not really any flaws that I can come up with this game. So, yep, it's really good. Incredible game.
No, like I probably do have flaws though.
It does have
but
flaws, but it's not
nothing
something,
springing. It's not something. It's not like nitpicker. It's not like springing into mind now. Where some of the other games I have in my top 10 is like, yeah, I have problems with it though, but this one I don't have
Yeah.
a whole huge bunch of problems now.
Exactly.
Maybe those trials, those Muspelheim trials, a few of them were pretty tricky though, but that's probably the most I could
Yeah,
come
but
up
that's
with.
pretty much what they want. They want you. That's
Like,
exactly what they
that was
want,
like-
from that game. So
Yeah, that's like end game
Yeah.
stuff anyway though.
it's not broken or.
Like that on the other one, the Niflheim, is it?
Hmm.
The one you go through, you have to go through this like
The maze thing,
area
yeah.
and fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have as much trouble with those as I did with the Queen of the Valkyries.
Yeah. So anything to say, Derek?
Yeah, I don't really have any flaws other than, like I said about the Queen. I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get to go to all 9 worlds, like on the portal thing.
Yeah, there's a few.
Like they're
of
all
them,
listed
like,
there,
yeah,
but you can't go to all of them. So I was like,
block off.
oh man, I can't wait to go to this world. And it's like, well, it never happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's going to be a DLC or if that's just going to be for the sequel where you go to the other worlds. But other than like flaws, yeah, I don't really have anything. And I pretty much agree with all your thoughts.
Yeah,
I
me
just
too.
loved like going around and exploring and getting all the new gear and the combat was a lot of fun for sure.
Yep.
Story's great.
Yeah, not a lot
Yeah,
of
it was really good.
bad stuff about that game.
So we went to what? We went to Asgard. We went to Midgard. We were in Midgard, which is home. Asgard's like actually like no home of the gods, all
Mhm.
Odin. So we were in Midgard, Niflheim. Or was no Alfheim. We went to was it Niflheim, Hell, and Muspelheim, and Jotunheim. I think were the ones we went to. So there's a few of them we went to at least anyway. But yeah, continue on.
I don't really have anything more to say. I don't really
Yeah.
have anything more to add.
Yeah, we pretty much could talk. I think we're just tired as fuck.
Yeah, I think
so
we
are.
just want to get
That's
to
what
the end.
I haven't eaten dinner yet, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you're starving. I'm just gonna go through these briefly now.
Anticipated.
Just like sort of just get anticipated games here. Kingdom Hearts 3, which is out in over 2 weeks' time. I'm very much looking forward to it. And Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It's the next From Software game, so of course I'm looking forward to it. Shenmue 3. Hopefully it comes out
Maybe.
this year. Judgment, which is the next game by the Accusing team. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I really loved the first game, so I'm very much looking forward to it. Life is Strange 2. The first episode came out. I've not played it. I'm just waiting on the rest of the season. The second episode is
Yeah.
out this month. I hope they doesn't take another 4 months for the next episode, or we won't save up in the entire season until like 2019 at this. 2020
Yeah,
at
I'm
this
waiting for
point.
everything to come out to get it.
Psychonauts 2 is apparently coming out this year, which I hope is the case. And Yakuza's 3, 4, and 5 on the PS4. Hopefully they come out, or at least a couple of them come out this year, so I can play them finally. And that's pretty much what I have. I'll probably am forgetting a few games, but they're the ones I'm thinking of at the
Go there.
moment.
I was gonna say Anthem, but based on that closed alpha or whatever they called it that I played, I'm not really looking forward to it at this point. I mean, I'm curious to see what the full
Yeah,
game is like, but there wasn't anything that special in that.
I'm very curious to see how
Yeah, me
that
too.
how that goes.
The Mass Effect killer.
It's like we played the Coast Alpha, me and
Okay.
Derek. I played on PS4, he played on PC, and yeah, it just feels generic, I guess.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
I mean, they didn't have much in there. Like, there wasn't a lot of the features, so, kind of have to wait and see. I think there's going to be a full demo or something, or a full beta. So maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, like an open beta, I think is coming up soon. So hopefully there's more content. If it's like more content added onto it, I might try that and see. But if it's like not much difference or whatever, if it's not anything enticing there, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to get this game.
Metro Exodus looks really good. I'm curious to see how the Division 2 is.
Yeah, that's on mine too.
Yes, I'm curious. Hopefully it has a better end game. If it has a better end game than the first one, then it's instantly a better game. Because that was the biggest. It would have been in my top 10 that year if it had a better end game. Because there was just no end game.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Resident Evil 2.
Just wanted to do PvP.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said Resident Evil 2 comes out very soon, and that's a remake of my favorite Resident Evil game, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Also looking forward to that Sekiro game. Rage 2. I know nobody likes Rage 1, but I think that looks really cool, so I'm very interested in that.
Looking forward to that.
I just wish I had co-op. I'm sorry, I'm being one of those people, but I just wish I had co-op because it'd be so much fun to play
It
co-op.
doesn't? Okay.
Nope. I think it's only single player.
Doom Eternal.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Oh yeah, so did I. I forgot that was coming out this year, apparently. Yeah, that's definitely on my list.
Code Vein, which got delayed into the 2019. It was supposed to come out in 2018. That's a anime Souls-like game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done by the same team that did, or someone, I think part of the team that's done God Eater. Yeah.
And The Surge 2, if that comes out, I'll look forward to that. I did enjoy The Surge 1 quite a bit. And
that'll be a game I plan to play this year, the first one at least.
I think that's pretty much it.
All right. I have Crackdown 3, which I want to see what that is, and I want to see how it turns out. Loved the first game, hated the second game.
I'm very curious about that more than anything.
Yeah.
That's the best I have for it. Curious more than anything, and I'm not really interested in trying it out. Just at the moment, just curious.
Yeah, I'm curious to see
what it does after numerous
what
days.
happens to it, and how it turns out for sure.
I think it first got announced in 2014 or 2015.
With all the delays and everything, I don't know how that's going to turn out, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Metro Exodus, Derek talked about it. The Division 2, which I really enjoyed the first game, so looking forward to this one. Rage 2, which Derek talked about. Gears 5, which is now just called Gears. It's not called Gears of War, it's called Gears. So,
really?
yeah. It's just that Gears.
Okay.
It's Gears 5. So
funny.
Want to see where that goes for sure. So, though this is not official, but I'm thinking it's coming out this year. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh crap! I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so did I.
So that's very interesting.
Switch is, yeah, it's a Switch exclusive as well,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
even more interesting. It's fun.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I do not know what that is, but curious to see what they do with that.
Well, it's done by Respawn, and if it's anything like Titanfall 2, then it
Yep.
should be great.
That's why I'm excited for it. The Outer Worlds, I'm excited for. From the makers of
Oh, that's that.
looks like Borderlands
Yeah.
a little bit with Fallout,
Borderlands,
Mhm.
Borderlands meets Bioshock
Fallout,
meets
yeah,
Fallout.
pretty much. That looks really good, so I'm interested. And maybe Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know if that's going to come out this year, but
2020 at the earliest for me. I think that's coming out.
yeah, a lot of people say it's going to be a next-gen launch game, but we'll see. We'll see what that brings. So yeah, that's pretty much my list of. I forgot Doom Eternal, so yeah, that's on there too, of course. So that's my list.
Okay. After 6.5 hours,
Jesus.
This is it.
we finally got to the end. I am fucking tired. It's 1:30 in the morning. I have work tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Well,
Okay.
tonight.
Jeez.
So I've only in for the one night and then I'm off again for
Okay.
a few days, so it's not so bad. But anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for getting to the end of this.
Yeah.
This will be the last one for till next year perhaps, or if I decide to do one randomly. But like I said at the start, I'm not going to be tending to buy as many games as I
Yeah,
did
same
this
here.
year. And
Toning it down a little bit.
trying to
Yep.
cut back and just rent more games, I guess.
Play games you
try
already
and play as
have.
many-
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, try to play games that's already I have. Yeah, try and hit some of that backlog. Biggest problem is some of those games I have are fucking very long games, so it still take me a couple of months to finish
Well, that's
them.
a good thing. You don't have to buy
Yeah.
anything else. Play those. And you're
Yeah, I
done.
guess. Well, it depends if I'm
Yeah,
enjoying it
yeah.
though. I'm not gonna spend 20 hours in a game and
Yeah,
not
that's for
enjoying. I am. If I'm not enjoying it, well, I could always can move on to the next game. It's not like I'm any shortage of games now.
Mhm.
Like I'm going back to Odyssey. I'll be playing that for the next
Yep.
while. Definitely gonna want to see it through now to the end. Say Kingdom Hearts 3 is out at the end of the month, and that's pretty much the only game I'm probably gonna get for another couple of months. But anyway, that is it. Thank you
Thank you.
guys. Thank you, Derek
Thank you,
and
thank you.
Dennis.
Thank you.
And see you on the flip side, I guess.
Yep.
Goodbye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
We're going to bed. Not together, but we're going to bed.